episode of the Kulturecast brought to you by a movie that actually has no plot. So just so we're all clear, any further you listen, this will be about a movie that has no plot because it's a concert film. Also, this is an episode that is taking place 4 months after it was meant to be recorded. December as a month of 2023 got away from us here at the Kulturecast, us being me. Yeah, I don't remember. I think, Heather, we one was a reschedule because of you, one was a reschedule because of me, and then I don't even remember what happened to the other one. December just didn't happen.
It was a lost month.
I know.
It was but it's all good.
I kind of feel like there's been lost months since March of 20. I feel like I lost everything since, Frank.
We're in a weird time continuum, but Chris, the movie we're talking about tonight, this is fitting because the movie we're talking about was delayed and being distributed and coming to theaters. So the delay fits.
Right. And also on this episode of the Kulturecast, I am still your host, Chris Stachiw. I am joined by programmer of Drain December, which didn't happen, but's happening now, Heather Drain.
Woo!
And also joined once again, it's been a minute though, by pop culture writer Rachel McPadden.
Hi, Chris and Heather. I'm super happy to be back.
Talking once again about music, almost like music is a reoccurring topic here. And last time we talked about Starstruck, which did have a plot. We are now talking on this episode of the Kulturecast about a 1982 concert film called Urgh, A Music War, which again, I will reiterate, does not have a plot. That's the last time I'm saying it, just to give anyone else an opportunity.
Yeah! Give me some rhythm, I need some rhythm!
Hey, man, what is this place?
It's the rhythm I need!
Suppose they gave a music war.
I need this!
And everybody came.
And this one is full of moral fiber.
And they kept on coming.
Well, come on, little mama, let's tear this damn place up!
It's frustrating, aggravating, so annoying. Pretend you're enjoying it. Doing it right. Welcome to the Ritz. Like it was built in one day.
34 bands, and we'll never play the bronze. 35 songs that you'll never hear in an elevator. Urgh. A music war.
This time they've gone too far.
Urgh. A movie.
Maybe this time they've gone too far.
Again, I'm kind of concerned as to how we're going to talk about it because I've never talked about a movie like this before in this setting. So I'm interested initially, Heather, because this is obviously the big question I always ask. Why did you pick this movie?
Well, I have the simplest answer for that because it's literally one of my favorite movies ever. I love Urgh Music War. I also feel like it's such a cult movie and it's not really talked about enough. And in fact, it's not even, I think it's out of print again. So it's really important. That's always, I've said part of the beauty of podcasting and writing is it's part of preservation because if you keep the conversation and dialogue active, then it keeps it fresh in people's minds. They could be like, hey, I need to seek this out. So that's also part of the goal because it's such a it captures such a cool and unique period of time in music. And it has a truly, I think, such a healthy mix of bands, which is kind of hard to do. I think a lot of times when you think of concert films, you think of either like a singular artist being featured, like The Last Waltz, with the band, or you think of something maybe like Woodstock or Monterey Pop, which are, more about kind of capturing the festival experience. This wasn't a festival. This was something that was specifically orchestrated, be like to get this on film,
right?
Recorded in a 5-week period with concerts ranging from LA to New York to Paris to London.
Kind of surprised you didn't mention one of the movies that's in my top 5 movies of all time is a concert film, and I've never done an episode on it because I didn't know how, and maybe this leads into me finally doing an episode on it, but Stop Making Sense.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. Jonathan Demme, who gets things in the credits of Urgh Music War.
Right. I mean, like that for me is like the pinnacle of concert film, but it's also like one of my favorite movies because I actually concede and contend, I would contend that all of the best versions of the Talking Heads songs are on the live version of Stop Making Sense. Like all of the best versions of the songs are the ones that they perform live, which is kind of nuts to me because I don't think that that's something for me I would say about most music I listen to. I prefer like the studio post-production, sounds as good as it should, the perfect version. Most of the times that's what I want to listen to, but Stop Making Sense, kind of like this movie. It's like, this is a thing and it has to kind of be a thing to really be appreciated. At least that's the way I felt after watching this.
Well, and I'm so glad you're open to it because I was like, I love the mix that we have tonight for this episode because like Rachel, like for my money, and I can say this objectively, Rachel is one of my favorite people to see and hear talk about music because Rachel, you have like such a great brain. And you have such a fascinating and cool and eclectic taste in music. And you fucking rule. So there's that too. But then I was like, but it's so cool because Chris, like you're kind of like the new blood we're bringing to Urgh Music War. So that's why I'm so glad you were open to it because I can admit my own folly here. If somebody was like, hey Heather, do you want to come on a show and talk about the Taylor Swift eras film? I have nothing against Taylor Swift. It's just not my flavor. I would probably say no. But so I'm glad you were open to coming and visiting this because I adore this movie so much. And I think it's near perfect.
What about you, Rachel?
Yeah, this is another one. I mean, I am the right age where I feel like I got to experience some of these things in their original forms. Not that I would have seen this in a theater, but I would have seen it on Night Flight when my grandfather specifically used to Betamax all sorts of things for me. And a lot of Night Flight stuff ended up on that because he knew I love music. So a lot of times it would be videos, it would be bands that he knew I liked, but it would also just be kind of like general music programming and all kinds of movies that I liked and stuff too. And the weird thing is that I think I knew a couple of the bands before I would have seen this, but Night Flight broke it up into like multiple nights of watching I don't even know when I originally saw it. I probably didn't see it in order. I probably, I feel like it was recorded over time. I don't even know if at first I would have seen every section of it. And I wish I would have seen it in a theater, even as an adult. Like I'd go now. I would love to go see it now. So, but I was probably, I'm going to say 10 when I first saw this stuff. So it was my introduction to a lot of bands I still love today. And just the idea of getting to see them. I mean, I had already seen a lot of live music. I had an uncle that was in a band that would play all the time. And from the time I was very little, I got to go see concerts. I didn't go to anything really on my own until I would be older, but to get to watch any form of, this is pre-videos. So, I mean, for not entirely, but for the most part, you didn't see a lot of live, club looking type of performances like that. I felt like this was what my teen years were going to be. I felt like I was previewing my teen years. So, I have super nostalgic feelings for it. And then it's also interesting how my love for a lot of these bands have really deepened. And my favorite performances have changed over the years too. So I can't wait to just get into it.
And like I kind of mentioned, I am, so like I said, Heather, maybe I don't even know that that's the case. Cause like I saw Stop Making Sense so early on that it kind of colored my judgment. Like I'm not surprised you picked this. I do think, like you said, it is kind of crazy to be like picking a movie that has no plot. Like we're just going to have to, but that's the thing. Like it doesn't have a plot, but it definitely has a varied amount of performances that are all very different that can all be talked about. And again, it's more of a performative musical than it is anything else. And again, like I like these kinds of movies. I like this more than I've liked most because it is such a varied group of things. And some of these are bands that I already like and listen to a fair amount anyways, like The Police, like Oingo Boingo, Cramps, like Gary Numan, like XTC, like things I'm already listening to. And then getting to see them here, which to your point, Rachel, is as close to live as I'm going to ever get to scenes. I mean, that Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense film is the closest I'm ever going to get to see my favorite band live. And I'm glad that exists in this format, Stop Making Sense and this, because again, like this is at the peak of these things. And it is weird because you mentioned it already, Rachel, with Night Flight, having worked on a project that was hosted by Peter Ivers, who got murdered. And then I end up working on that podcast, which I have a credit on as an associate producer. So it's kind of weird because this is also stuff that I was kind of hearing about and using in the project I was working on. Some of these bands, I definitely remember their names coming up as things that were like, oh, we could use this because this was on Night Flight, which was, again, Peter Ivers and all that with the New Wave Theater. And again, there's new wave bands here. So it was like, oh, I hadn't thought about some of this stuff in quite some time. And it kind of triggered some memories of like, oh, right, I was kind of deep into this area of music at this specific time for a lot longer than I think I realized. I kind of put like a mental block on it for a whole host of reasons. And I'm glad that it was like, oh, no, like, you can still enjoy this new wave pop, punk and punk music. Like it's not all colored negatively, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think that's actually, it makes me happy to hear you mention Peter Ivers, not because of the murder, but New Wave Theater.
Unsolved
I love
murder too, by the way.
Yeah. I love Peter Ivers, and he was just such a cool character and a really talented musician in his own right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But New Wave Theater has like some crossover because like, one of my favorite artists that's in both this and New Wave Theater is the Dead Kennedys.
Right. And
so like I think episodes of New Wave Theater would pair very nicely as like a double feature with Urgh. And it's the thing that's fascinating with this film too is that and there's been like slightly different cuts of it, because like when I saw it on, I believe, either the Independent Film Channel or I think it was the Independent Film Channel back in the 90s. And I immediately was like, holy shit, it's coming on. And I grabbed a tape because I'd always wanted to see it. I knew about it. But it was out of print for years and years. Like I think it had an initial VHS run and that was it. And occasionally you'd have to catch it on, like Night Flight had it. I found a listing in New York Magazine that it aired on Showtime back in April of 1987 at like 3 a.m, like 3:30 in the morning. So it did get some play, but the TV versions, depending on like, at least by the 90s, they cut out Gary Numan.
Right.
The Gary Numan clip was missing, and the Splodginess Abounds is missing from that, as well as the Warner Brothers DVD, which they just did like a print on demand DVD run. And I think that's not even an option anymore, but I do have that. And
at least that exists, though.
True, but Splodginess Abounds isn't on that either. Oh, I got it. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder how much that is now to buy, because I'm sure that, well, that's the thing. Like, is anybody parting with their print to ordered version? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you were having something print to ordered, it's because you don't want to get rid of it. You wanted this thing because, like, the version I watched, by the way, was on Vimeo because somebody just uploaded probably the version that y'all have up onto Vimeo, and it's the whole thing. It's 2 hours and some change, and I'm glad it's out on the internet because it's like the first or second thing that comes up, which is nice. Like that there's a version of this out there that is easy to watch as easy to watch as, putting in a DVD is effectively at this point. And it would be a shame to miss the Gary Numan performance because that little car that he's going around in
Oh my God.
is just, I swear to God, with Gary Numan in the cars. Like, what is this guy? What is going on? I love it though.
When I finally got to see that performance, I was sad for my younger self, like missing it because the IFC cut didn't have it. But holy shit, doing Down in the Park, which is one of my favorite Newman songs. I fucking love Gary Numan. Like, I love his new stuff. Like, Gary Newman's just one of those artists that is just perpetually doing great work. And but yeah, and just that set design, like, it's funny because all the other sets in the film are a little more stripped down, and some, like Rachel, you talk about, are like it's straight up clubs. Like, I know the Flesh Tone segments in CBGBs, but his, like, the Gary Numan stage setup looks like an Eastern European science fiction film. It looks
very
so
gaga. Like, it's so theatrical is probably the best way.
It's so cool.
When I think of Gary Numan, I think of theatricality.
Oh, well, and that ominous, because that Down in the Park is such kind of a creepy song anyways. And just, it's a riveting performance. But this film has so many, like, I don't know, do we want to just kind of start, like, loosely in chronological order? Because I see why, Chris, why you were like, because the film opens up with the Police, which is fitting because not only are they the biggest band at the time when this movie came out, but IRS Records were behind the film. And of course, that's Miles Copeland, who is Stuart Copeland's brother.
Right.
And but
my favorite member of the
I love Stuart Copeland, but more and more, I think Andy Summer does not get the respect. But I think I'm also biased because he played with John Cale, and I'm a major John Cale fangirl. Love me some John Cale. But Stuart Copeland rules. And
they all seem more well-adjusted than Sting. Yeah, anyone but Sting. More well-adjusted than Sting, all of them.
I love Sting and Dune.
Yeah, well, who doesn't?
Yeah, and that diaper going I will kill him.
I mean, like, anyone who sings Desert Rose unironic, that song. Too much, Sting. It's too much. But I mean, I love the Police. Who doesn't love the Police, right?
Oh,
I mean, could the Talking Heads have opened to this movie? That's the question.
Well, in my research, I found two bands that declined to be filmed.
Of course.
That were and it was the Talking Heads and the B-52s.
Which makes sense because they feel, because this is the biggest band in the entire movie, I feel like here's the point where we would talk about it. Those two would have been just as big as the Police. It would have aged just as well, I think, in terms of visibility, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel a little robbed knowing the B-52s because Talking Heads, we got Stop Making Sense.
I know, but still.
And you can't beat that. But the B-52s, like the live footage we have of them, especially like early era, is so good. It would have been cool.
They would have fit right in. It would. I do wonder why they turned it down.
David Byrne probably was just like, this isn't my way. I'm very specific. Such an iconoclast, though. I mean, he is. Like, I get it. Like, look, like, I feel like who's your favorite member of the Talking Heads? Anybody but David Byrne is the same thing with, like, who's your favorite member of the Police? Anybody but Sting. Because, like, the Talking Heads don't tour anymore because of David Byrne and nobody else, because he pissed everybody else off. Like, and they were like, yeah, we're good, dude. Like, it's kind of hard to love on any of these bands.
My feelings against Sting are not as harsh as David Byrne, I think.
Same. Yeah, no, Sting seems like a nice enough.
He's
sure.
Fun.
Yeah, he's like, and
I don't know. He just always seems a little up his own butt, but that's just me.
I think let's face it, most rock stars,
his level. When you're his level, I mean, again.
Yeah, but exactly. But I will say this: a band that we're going to talk about later that comes up, and it's one of my favorite performances, the Skafish. Yeah, which is Jim Skafish, named after lead singer Jim, who's lovely. He's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, like, super friendly to his fans. That first album is brilliant. Like, he should really be a lot better known than he is, because like and you see it in this performance, but like his band and like some of the work they do, some of those songs are almost like Zappa level, like fucking unreal. Like, but Jim said that the crowd in Fréjus and Paris, like, at one point were really hostile to him and his band and were like throwing shit, and Sting came out on stage and like chided them.
Huh.
and like stood up for them because like he got what they were doing. And actually another supportive band that I wish was in this film, but it's not, that were really cool to Scapefish, was Cheap Trick.
Oh
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know. It's like, oh, I love Cheap that though. But it's cool to have I think the police and doing Driven to Tears is kind of a nice gentle way to kind of usher you into the film.
Yeah. It's a good one.
They're so incredibly professional. That's the thing too. It starts out so strong. You're like, they are the hugest band associated with this. It's almost like how a headliner will get openers that are, that aren't going to challenge them in any way. It's like, not that they're not challenged. I mean, they're the most professional. The performances, they're not the performances I like the best, but it's just inarguably they are the stars. That's why they open. I mean, it's
close,
really
to be
something.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they close too. I mean, not only do they open, to your point,
Yes.
Rachel, but they also close as well.
Yeah, they close because they come back for Roxanne and they do my favorite song, which is like the one during the credits, is So Lonely, which I love that song. And
that's a power move to be the ones who open and the ones who close. Like that's a power.
It's a power move. And it also helps to have like your drummer's brother be like the guy at the record company.
Right. Yeah. Very fair.
But it's the police. Nobody's gonna be bitching about having the police. Come on. Now, if my memory is correct, after that is one of my favorite bands of all time. And I apologize if I'm hogging this, but I have to, because it's Wall of Voodoo. And I am a massive Wall of Voodoo fan. And this film does have some of the bands get little interstitials. It's just like brief little sort of, and we see them out on the pier, and a cool little details. You see the guitarist Mark Moreland reading like a racetrack sheet, and Mark Moreland, that was like authentic. Mark Moreland legit was a fan of the races. So, you get a little, I don't know if the rest of them were into fishing, but that's a nice little thing. And we get to see like the original lineup of this band with Bruce Moreland, who was out of the band by the time, like, because most people probably know this band from Mexican radio, and Bruce was gone by that point. And he would be back in the band when Andy Preboy joined them back in the mid to late 80s, which I highly encourage you by listening to that to check out that era, because that's some of the best stuff. But I love this clip. Did you guys enjoy this Wall of Voodoo doing Back in Flesh?
I loved it so much. It's really it kind of sent me into a Wall of Voodoo revival a little bit, and I've definitely put some songs in what I listen to daily. I think they're so pulled together. I like the way they look. They have like kind of the subtler version of the great hair, and they're like a little bit musclier than you're used to seeing. They have muscle shirts on top of it, which you're not really expecting. I'm going to talk about sartorial issues. No, I mean, it is like, it starts so strong. To start with the police and then go into Wall of Voodoo is like, I can only imagine what it felt like in a theater.
Oh, right. And Chris, oh my God, Chris, before I ask you what you thought, I have to say, I love the muscle thing. Bruce Moreland is stone cold hottie. Like, and he's in a band now called Ravensmoreland, which is also fucking great. And his drummer was in Thrill Kill Cult, like, which is so amazing. But yeah, I mean, the band looked great. I love that Chas Gray kind of looks like Darren from Bewitched a little bit, but like, cuter. Yeah, they're the total package. And but Chris, like, was this your first like real entrance to Wall of Voodoo?
No, the last time was when in Night Dreams.
Oh God, that's right. That's right. Oh my God, this is like.
Right. I mean, I'd heard Mexican radio before, but this, like you mentioned, not the same lineup.
The Ring, yeah, but Ring of Fire, yeah.
Right.
Which
from
iconic.
Night Dreams. Yeah. No, I mean, they're great. I mean, again, for me, there's a band coming up that, like, I get it. I get why they're not the second, but I was kind of surprised that they weren't the second. I feel like you could make a case for Oingo Boingo having been in the second spot, right? Is it just me? Like, Oingo Boingo, like, for me, is a big enough name. They could have been the second band after the Police.
Well, Oingo Boingo weren't signed when they recorded their spot.
Right. So this is me just kind of feeling this way post all of the reality of Oingo Boingo being successful.
Yeah, they got bigger after this film, to be honest. Now, granted, their clip here, I mean, we'll get to that. Yeah, I love Oingo Boingo, and I love early Oingo Boingo the most, because we're getting them right after, like, fresh kind of from the delusion or dissolution of Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. So this is post Forbidden Zone. But they're still kind of got a little bit of that weirdness to them. Like, they're not quite as codified kind of as I think they've become later. Which I'm not saying that's a negative,
but no, Wall of Voodoo was
audience gets really hyped up. Like they're it's kind of like light moshing and kind of slam dancing a little bit. Like they're really it's the first shot that you get, I feel like, of like really the crowd going crazy, and kind of how we traditionally would recognize a reaction to a punk band, but it's Oingo Boingo. But it's really, it's music you can move to for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love some of the crowd shots throughout this whole film, but there's one that cracks me up with at the beginning of Oingo Boingo's, when if this one guy with like almost like not quite pure Liberty spikes, but he's totally got like the classic spiky mohawk, and you could tell like he is not fucking having it. Like this guy. You can that, but I love it. I love mixed crowds. I love it. I think that's healthy. It's good to have sometimes. And sometimes like the ones that you think wouldn't be down for something are like, because there's definitely like some punk kids that, are straight up, going hog wild for Boingo. There's one little like blonde punk girl that cracks me up that you see a lot actually during the Wall of Voodoo, but she pops up throughout where she's just like eating it up. She's just like this little like sort of like Tinkerbell, like from like downtown LA at the Mask or something. Like she's great. But yeah, Oingo Boingo. I get it, Chris, because I love Oingo Boingo too.
But I think Wall of Voodoo is like a good second choice as well. Like in terms of like looking at the rest of the list, there are a couple other bands, but I mean, Wall of Voodoo I think is up there. I would have been pretty forward thinking to have Joan Jett there, but I think Wall of Voodoo, like, pretty good. Their performance is pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of their early stuff. That's the thing. Like, I will freely admit I have not heard of a lot of these bands, but there are some that I am familiar enough to be like, oh, again, Devo or who hasn't heard these? I feel like that's the one where it's like, if you haven't heard of them, how is that possible? Well, I mean, again, like, I don't know if people younger than me are like, have you ever heard of the band The Police? I'd be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
They're going to tell you ACAB, and you're like, dude, that's not the same Police.
Yeah, right. It's like, I guess they'd probably know it from, and now it's like fucking canceled too because he's a big piece of shit. But The Police sampled on Puff Daddy Every Breath, right? Like that's I would assume a lot of people know The Police only as like the song that is sampled in that song. Which I know like now is a fucking problem, obviously, because he's allegedly a big piece of shit. But yeah, I mean, like most of these bands I haven't heard of, or if I've heard of them, I haven't heard the song that they're performing. Because a lot of the bands, when we get to the ones that I do know, be like, I've never heard this song. Like this Wall of Voodoo song, I had never heard. So it was first time to see the band in person, and then also a different song than I'm used to hearing. When I went and looked, I understood why they didn't play those songs, because this was before those songs came out. That's why they didn't play them.
Yeah.
Like Mexican radio.
Yeah. Because it's a different lineup.
Right. Well, it takes place before it as well. Like, like chronologically, literally can't play a song that they haven't written.
True.
They're not Bill and Tedding it. They come back from the future with children on their backs and long goatees. We have the song now.
I did like that movie. I did. Now the artist, and I wonder if this one of those artists, Chris, maybe was she new to you? Had you heard of Toya?
No.
Oh my God. This makes me so happy. I love Toya on so many levels, because she's in Derek Jarman's Jubilee, like almost looking very different than she does anywhere else. But she's amazing in Jubilee. I don't which if you guys haven't seen which it's brilliant. Derek Jarman's a great director. But Toya is amazing. And she now does all of these like videos where she does different covers with her husband, who happens to be Robert Fripp from fucking King Crimson.
Wow.
and she puts makeup on him. It's like, it's hilarious because you can tell he's just like, oh my God, my fucking wife over here is putting eyeliner on me, and I'm Robert Fripp. But she's amazing.
He gets into it. He gets into it though. That's where Chris should start. In fact, with Toya are that series of videos.
Oh, they're great. They're great. I love.
Sounds like wholesome content.
They're lovely, and I adore this woman, and I adore this performance. Like, for my buddy, I love her voice. I think she has this amazing soaring, like, big voice, and she's so magnetic. That crowd is in the palm of her fucking hands. Every move she makes, they are moving with her. It is such a joy to see a performer that has that kind of command, who's good.
Reminds me of the leader of Paramore, Hayley Williams. She has the same hair color. She's pretty magnetic.
Yeah, Toya's, oh my God. But like Chris and Rachel, like, what did you guys think of this performance?
I have to say, Toya is not one of my favorites. It's not that I have anything good. I love the way that she looks, and I completely agree that it's a fantastic performance, and the crowd is going crazy. I can't, like, I don't connect to the music so much. I feel like it is kind of genre defying, and I respect that quite a bit, but it's it's embarrassing, but she's just not one of the ones. She's just not one of my performers.
It's okay.
I thought she was fine. Like, I think, to Rachel's point, like, it's one of those things where I was listening to it and I was like, you're just kind of your own thing, and either you're into it or you're not. Like, she's fine. Again, like, it is one of those things where, I don't know, it's probably wasn't similar to Rachel's. Like, it's just not for me, I guess. But I understand why it's not, which is just like, I don't know. Music is such a thing that is so specifically, like, my tastes in music feel very specific, but they're not. But, like, some of this stuff is like, oh. But, like, again, like, I've been exposed to it enough to know that, like, I can watch it and appreciate it for what it is and what it is trying to be. That's just not something I go out of my way to find on a normal basis.
Yeah, no, that's more than fair. And trust me, there's some artists that we'll get to that I'm gonna be just like, okay. But one artist I can't say that about is John Cooper Clarke. Like, and I love that we get to see him here, because this is where we're starting to get some of the more I wouldn't call him obscure, like, because, like, if you're into this particular era of, like, punk culture, and especially, like, British punk culture in that era, you probably know who John Cooper Clarke is, but he's kind of fascinating because he's basically a musician who's a poet. I mean, poetry is music in a way, really, but he doesn't sound like a slam poet, so I dig it.
Yeah, it's really, and it's not unlike Patti Smith in a lot of ways. I feel like we're used to that type of where it isn't spoken word.
Mm, totally,
you know?
Yeah.
But also the his physicality, the way that he kind of performs these songs is really, you can't take your eyes off him.
Oh, completely. Yeah, like he has it's almost like his body, like he's this like this rail thin man with this amazing kind of bushy coif, just like attacking the words as he's
I know.
as he's moving.
I was thinking he looks like a caricature of Bob Dylan.
Right. Thank you.
He looks like the Little Prince, like a combination of the Little Prince from the movie and Bob Dylan, which is, it's so attractive. Like the dark glasses, the hair, like it's really, you can't take your eyes off of him, I
feel like you could show people a picture of him and be like, is this Bob Dylan? They'd be like,
maybe.
Yeah.
His hair's taller, a little bit tall. No, it's kind of like the ideal version of that hair, I think, for me, because I say go bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like
go taller, go
like
bigger.
You said, caricature of Dylan. Yeah. First keep a counter at home, like how many of these I'd never heard of before. This is another one. Again, like this is a thing that I'm just now being exposed to as an adult, which is like, again, like you said, not slam poetry, but I think to describe this to someone is like sort of what most people would assume slam poetry to be, which is like poetry with like light music behind it, I guess. Like, I don't know. I was in LA recently and I saw something like this and I felt like I was standing in a room with people looking at it, shaking my head like I understood. Well, they did not understand any more than I did. And like, it's not something I've ever been into. So now having seen it twice within a week, it's like, oh, okay. Like, interesting. I don't know. It's interesting. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think John Cooper Clarke's such a great example of doing that where it works well, because right. I find poetry like it's poetry so hard. I think it's at least for my opinion, I think it's one of the harder types of writing to nail, and especially performative, because
which is just music, like you said.
Yeah, well, and especially by people doing spoken word, it's so easy. Like if it's not done in the right hands, it could come across just like the total like farty, pretentious nonsense. And but John Cooper Clarke just has Rachel, you nailed it. Like he has such charisma. Like he's riveting. Like he's totally got the rock and roll authority.
In this song too, I even feel like some of the rhymes in it remind me of Dylan a little bit, or like the one that stands out to me where it's beans, greens, tangerines, low cholesterol, margarine.
Yes.
It's like, it's just, it's silly, but I'm ready for it. It does have like a 60s vibe to it about the health fanatic. Obviously, I think it was I don't know. I mean, it's of its time, but it did have some of the rhymes where it reminds me. It's also making me think maybe of Fugs or something, but it's not.
Oh my God, yes.
But there's not humor. I mean, there is and there isn't humor too, because like I said, those rhymes, it's really like, it's kind of it's very accessible images and like the poking fun at the average family or something, or at like being into fitness. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love it though. It looks like it kind of transcends time, and it's like I do want to watch the performance. I don't know if I want to listen to the record, but to watch the performance, I think that's really the whole. He's got it all.
Yeah. Oh my God. He at one point opened for Nico in the early 80s.
Wow.
If I had a time machine, my God, like, oh, the heart wonders. But yeah, I love the Patti Smith invocation too with that. Like, that's perfect. Yeah, because Patti, especially like she probably still does now. But like, I think of like her like doing horses and, having those kind of little spoken bits before she just really starts losing herself to the rhythm. So cool. So yeah. So Chris, what was better? Did you prefer John Cooper Clarke over the LA poet, or is it about the same for you?
About the same. I mean, again, like I kind of, again, like it's one of those things where the more I feel like the more I'm exposed to it, the more I kind of get it. But again, it's not something I'm like I've never just queued up a poetry album. Let's put it that way. And I'm sure that's a thing, right? That has to be a thing.
Oh, it's totally a thing. Actually, I'm surprised she's not in this. I have a really good poetry album by Pleasant Gaiman, who is, I love her. Like, she's a great writer, huge part of the LA punk scene. She was in the band, the Screaming Sirens. I almost said Tribesmen, and that's an Australian band, but she's super cool. Also, like, professional belly dancer, which is amazing. But after that, we get OMD, aka Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, which is another favorite band of mine. And I love that we're getting to see, because in America at this point, that's the thing, because some of the bands that we see that are known, when this film came out, some of them were known more than others, and some of them, like the Go-Go's, weren't signed when we get to them. The Go-Go's weren't signed when they were recorded either. So, but OMD was, but they're doing their song Enola Gay, which is such a great song, and just kind of a haunting song, obviously, about the atomic bomb. But we're getting to see them where they, most Americans probably know them for their song on the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, which was like 86. But which is a great song, but it's kind of cool to see them kind of in their more sort of craft, this song doesn't sound quite as Kraftwerk, but Kraftwerk was one of like their absolute number one inspirations for forming that band. But yeah, what did you guys think about OMD here?
Well, I saw OMD, I think 3 times, but I could only remember specifically 2 times. I saw them open for the Thompson Twins on the Swatch tour.
Oh my God.
1985, I think. And they were great. And I saw them, I think, also open for Power Station, which was one of the, sub bands of Duran Duran members.
Oh, and hell yeah.
Sure they opened for that. So that was probably, fairly close together. I saw them open, and I swear I saw them open for someone else, and I couldn't really think of it. I mean, I was like 12 and 13 right around that time or whatever, but I definitely liked them. I was into the Pretty in Pink soundtrack when it came out. I think that's a great soundtrack. I may have even gotten it for my birthday, I think. And then I was way into records, and also, I mean, it had a few of my faves. and it has Echo and the Bunnymen, and they are also in Urgh. So there's a connection. Didn't think we'd be talking about Pretty in Pink. But anyway,
here we are.
Yeah, I really, it's so funny. I think that the thing about OMD is they're like these purveyors of the synth riff, you know? Like and when you talk about Enola Gay, it's that exact same thing too. It's like they have these synth riffs that are, I mean, not that they're the only band to do it, but they really, you know, they don't even have guitar. Like they have a bass, 2 synth players and drummer in this, you know, for that. And I don't even remember if they had any other support members when I would have seen them. I thought it was just the 2 of them, and then maybe they had other tracks or something, or who knows. But yeah, I love them.
I do too. Oh my God. I'm so jealous you get to see them live. That is amazing. Oh my God. And the Power Station. Holy shit.
Yeah. I don't know if I should tell should I tell the funny story associated with the Power Station, or is that too much of a digression?
Robert Palmer fronted this it was basically a super group that it's like 2 members of Duran Duran with 2 members of Chic, and they were fucking badass. Unless you see them at Live Aid, and they're still badass. But Michael DeBar was their lead singer briefly too, and I love him as well.
That's who toured. Well, that's who they toured with.
Fuck, so, you got to see Michael DeBar too?
I did. So, but here's the thing. So I was a big Duran Duran fan when I was younger, so I was really excited to see Power Station. And again, I'm still like early teens when this is happening. And I would always listen to King Biscuit Flower Hour.
Yes.
And so Power Station was on that. And I knew from listening to it, I also knew from my uncle's band, and I knew from listening to King Biscuit Flower Hour or whatever. It's like people will say the same thing in every city. We know this now, that when the band comes through and they'll have the routine, especially if they're introducing the band, a lot of time that's like super routine. You know, it's like you say the thing about whoever you go around. So I knew what they said, or I had a hunch that it would be the same introduction of the band. And they said after each person, Michael DeBar would say, "Give the man a hand, give the man a hand, give the man a hand." So my best friend and I at the time, we went to a year-round costume shop, like a Halloween shop or whatever, and bought a rubber hand. And I bought the one that was hollow so that we could put a note into it. So we wrote a note that said, that probably, I mean, ever so innocently, probably literally said like, "We love Duran Duran," you know, and like stuffed it in the hand, and then walked up as close as we could. And when they said, "Give the man a hand," threw the hand, which it didn't make it onto the stage in any way. But it was like our little 13-year-old selves going to the, you know, this is at a time where your parents are having to drive you to a different suburb to buy a rubber hand to throw on stage. So I don't know. I mean, it was extremely fun, and I have no idea what I was thinking. But anyway, that's my Power Station story. Give the man a hand.
Give Rachel a hand. That story's fucking adorable. Oh my God, that's so cute. I love that. I bet Michael DeBar would probably find that funny too. He seems to have a very good sense of humor. But Chris, like, what did you think of this?
Not a band I was eminently familiar with, so I like the performance. I mean, again, I see the craft work inspiration for sure. I mean, it was very like, I like the synth keyboard. No, I just, you know, some of these bands, I just feel like I missed them. And then other ones, it's like, I know too many of their songs, if that makes sense. Some of the bands, like, I know their songs, and the other ones, like,
excuse me, there's one band later on that I wish I didn't know any of their songs. There is one band, and there's only one band I actively do not like, which for a film that's over 2 hours long, I think that just shows the testament of how strong this movie is. But
yeah,
and actually Echo and the Bunnymen, Rachel, you mentioned them, so I feel like we should. And they're doing the puppet, which is so cool, because that's like kind of, Chris, what you were saying earlier. That's kind of a deeper cut, I feel like, for that band.
Yeah. That's not the song of theirs that I know. That's for sure.
It's so good though.
Oh, it's amazing. It's and it's so cool, like, to see them do this live. And you know, and that's the thing. This film, I talked about time travel, and both of you have brought this point up already, but it's true, is that this film is like as close as we're gonna get to time travel. Like, both for these bands, but also for this era. like because the landscape has changed so much for live. I feel like for like venues, I mean, things change. It's just it's what happens. But like some of these venues, probably a lot of these venues don't even exist at this point, or they're so different than what they were. I mean, I can't imagine the Whiskey a Go-Go has the same vibe as it did in 1980.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I wouldn't imagine so.
But
Well, this part, so the Echo and Bunnyman performance too. I recently rewatched Rude Boy, the Clash.
Yes.
And so there's a lot, you see they have all these performances and you get to see lots of crowds too. It's that type of, the fans that waiting to get outside or waiting to get inside, the fans, at the front of the stage. You get to see lots of fan interaction, lots of outfits and everybody's cool style. And Echo and the Bunnymen in particular, you get lots of shots kind of the lobby and outside and people walking up inside. So I really like that because it just takes you right there. Like you feel like you are. Again, it also reminds me of the music scene in Wings of Desire, which I rewatched recently.
Yes.
I just love when you're kind of like following someone on the sidewalk outside and you're going in and everybody knows that feeling when you're walking up to go see that band, And I think at that time, it's even more specific because these would have been the first kind of young, cool. Like I really wanted to be like those kids that were going to see Echo and the Bunnymen, like I just wanted to be them. So it's really cool to kind of people watch and to punk watch, like to watch all the little punks outside and stuff. And no one, I think in the history of new wave music had better hair than Ian McCulloch.
Oh my God.
It's perfect hair, perfect jacket. I mean, they just look and sound fantastic.
They're so good. Yeah, I to me, it's just one of those classic bands. Like, it's hard to go wrong with Echo and the Bunnymen, and they hit that sweet spot for me where they're not really goth, but they kind of have the shady, like the more shadowy kind of sound a little bit. Like, with some songs more than others, but there's just such a uniqueness and such a beauty to Ian's voice. And and you get to hear that live. Like God, I can only imagine if I got to imagine being at a club that size and hearing them do the Cutter. Like, oh my God, I know. It's like
it'd be crazy. And they're one of those bands I never stopped listening to. So I think that's interesting too, because a lot of bands I'll come back to and there'll be decades. I feel like I always listen to Echo and the Bunnymen on some level. So they must be among my favorite bands.
Oh, totally. No, I mean, they have so many songs that just I feel like are impossible to ever get tired of.
Yeah.
There's always a freshness, I think, there with that band. But Chris, like you mentioned you were familiar. What are your kind of go-to songs for Echo compared to the Puppet?
It's just the one. Literally.
Is it the one for,
like Sugar?
Oh, I love that song.
Oh, wait.
Sugar kiss.
Yeah, no, that's that one. And then it's the I probably hate to say this, but it's the I think it's from Donnie Darko.
Oh,
Killing
is it
Moon?
the Killing? But that's a great song. There's no shame in
it's
that.
just those two.
Yeah, phenomenal song.
Yeah.
I love to hear that though. I love to hear the point of reference from someone who's younger. There's nothing embarrassing in learning about it.
Oh no, it's
like,
just
what an amazing benefit.
Yeah.
Of trudging your way through Donnie Darko to come out the other.
Yeah. Donnie Darko's not great in a lot of ways, but Richard Link.
You have to watch a shitty movie.
Yeah. Well, and like he's always pretty on point with his needle drops, and that and Southland Tales has full of some pretty good music for the most part.
I wasn't prepared for the hilarious snark on
roasting.
I wasn't prepared either.
I love it though. I love it.
But I mean, I had never heard this song before, and this song is pretty good.
Oh, it's so good. And kind of to segue, so we're going to go from a band that's still very much known and I think very respected to a band that literally never recorded anything except this one performance in Urgh, and that's Invisible Sex with their song Value. And I tried to see if finally some information had surfaced about who the fuck these guys are. Because in George Jamark's absolutely essential books, Punk Diary and Post-Punk Diary, he alluded to that there were rumors that the band was consisted of members of other bands, but due to some of those bands being on different labels.
Here come the Mummies.
Yeah, but I don't know, but I did find
that
that
sounds like a thing.
Well, one person has surfaced, and I would not have expected this because I had to look this guy up. But according to Discogs, at least, Tom Toomey, who was in the Zombies,
What
is in this band. Which I hope to God that's true because I find that fascinating. I find fascinating that a person who was in, and I like the Zombies. It's definitely, I mean, it's a different era. But I like that. Even though I love that kind of crossover. And that's the thing. There are certain people that are identified with the 60s that got punk and got like post-punk immediately, and they were like, that's what we were doing, that's counterculture. Like Ray Manzarek, like he produced X's first album, we'll see X later. Like Ray Manzarek fucking got it, like and coincidentally my favorite member of the Doors. I love him, but certain people got it, certain people didn't. I always find it fascinating to kind of go back and see which musicians of a slightly older guard like immediately got it and which ones didn't. Like Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, he got it. He loved it. Like Mark Bolan, T-Rex, got it. Loved it. In fact, one of his favorite bands was The Damned, which I'm surprised The Damned wasn't in this. I was thinking about that. I was like fantasy booking my version of Urgh, which would probably be like, 48 hours long.
Exactly.
It'd be, but yeah, Invisible Sex. No, who knows? But did you guys like the song? I think it's kind of funny. It's cute.
It's like I think they're corny with the hazmat suits and the like synchronized cardboard guitar. Like it seemed like variety show stuff. It's which I can be into, but in this case it just kind of like it's almost a skipper for me, like it's hard. It seems like it's maybe one of the longer ones too. Some of these clips are really short. Or maybe it's just because I was like, okay, I get it. You're all wearing masks and hazmat suits and it's just like, I appreciate the effort that they put into that, but I couldn't tell you the song, honestly. I mean, I don't, it's gone from my head the second I'm not listening to it. Is that terrible?
That's a variety show. That's actually more than fair. And you're right. It's weird because honestly, Jules Holland does a song that I feel like is like 20 seconds long or something. Like it's insanely short. It's cute. It doesn't need to be longer than what it is though. I was kind of fine with it. But it is weird that the guy who was in Squeeze.
Right. Which I love Squeeze, by the way.
Oh,
35 seconds. Oh, they're phenomenal. I love Squeeze.
Yeah. Actually, little trivia. The first 2 CDs I ever bought as a kid was Squeeze, 45 Singles and Under, and the Kinks, Lola versus the Money Go Round.
Fantastic. What 2 great selections.
I'm proud of it because I didn't always make great decisions as a kid, but that was one of them. So
the first CD that I bought when they invented CDs was the Blow Monkeys.
Fuck yes! No, I love the Blow Monkeys.
And digging your scene or whatever.
Yes.
I love that song so much, and so that was my. But then I'm trying to think. It was either that, I can't remember which one came out first. I got 2. It was that, or it was the Belinda Carlisle solo.
Oh my god, with the pink cover.
Yes.
I now that the vinyl of that was in our house. Honestly, my first record is probably something really embarrassing. My first vinyl. But
Sean Cassidy, without a doubt.
I think mine.
I was like 3 years old.
Mine was something about the Gremlins.
Yes. Oh boy, was it one of those books with the
yes, it was the first music. Sorry, Chris. I know this is all tied. This is all music. Okay. Was my mother had the Panama, like the 45 single of Panama by Van Halen, and I pretty much I learned how to work the turntable because of that single.
There we go.
She got tired of she got tired of fucking with it, and I saw. And I'm like,
flip it and start it over. She wasn't gonna pick up and drop that needle one more time.
No, she was probably like, okay, honey, like I've heard it like 8 times. I still love that song.
It's a good song.
It has such the dirtiest breakdown.
Oh my! Oh, that yeah.
And that was big. I used to stamp hands. My mom worked at a disco when I was a kid, and when I was 10. I was like child labor at a record store. Our friend had a record store, but I would also stamp hands on teen night at the disco, which and they were playing Panama, basically. Let me just say.
Sweet.
Every once in a while, they would play some Van Halen and mix it in with some new wave and some top 40. But
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's, I don't know. I guess before we leave the land of invisible sex, which we can't leave it too soon. Chris, do you have any thoughts on invisible sex and their ode to value?
You mentioned the Jules Holland thing, which I thought was eminently more interesting, but I get the gimmick of doing the hidden identities band because, bands want to do that from time to time.
They were fine. I like the backup singers. I think I do like the girls going, fire, like that. I like them. I forgot about the fake guitar. Yeah, that was corny. It made me think of the police officer playing the cardboard guitar, and you got it. I think it's the music video for "You Got Another Thing Coming" by Judas Priest.
Oh man,
it's a lot. At least with that, you have the cushion of it being Judas Priest. Invisible Sex don't have that clout. They don't. No. They don't have the Rob Halford clout. But did you like the Jules Holland clip?
Yeah, but again, I'm a fan of Squeeze,
Yeah. What's weird is he's probably better known now for having that talk show that he had for years
for sure.
in the UK than he is for being a Squeeze. That's so weird to me because I still think of him as the dude from Squeeze. I'm like, it's that funny keyboardist from Squeeze.
He's a podcaster, makes radio TV, radio show.
Does he call it radio TV? Because that'd be cool. I like that.
I mean, if he's not trading on the fact that he was a former musician, what is he doing, right?
Yeah. He also hosted that show, The Tube, which had some really great live performances.
He definitely, I think he introduced me to some music for sure along the years.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So Chris, I'm excited to mention this next band because you had alluded to being a big fan of them. I'm definitely a fan of them as well. XTC.
Yep. They're great. I mean, again, it's like I've heard 2 of their songs that I really enjoy. And like like I said, like, is that a fan or is that just someone who comes into this with prior knowledge?
Well, I don't know. Both. You could be a baby fan. Like a fan doesn't necessarily mean you have to have like.
I know more of their songs than I know most of the songs of most of the people here.
Yeah. So you're not familiar with the extensive catalog of Invisible Sex? Is that
no? I think
it's not a cardboard guitar I see hanging behind you.
You get the hazmat suit,
right?
Just the mask. It does look like kind of like a white wrestling mask made out of hazmat suit material.
We'll be your backup singers, Chris. Hey, Rachel, go fire.
I mean, I will say XTC, like the songs of theirs that I've heard, I like. The song here that they perform is great. I love the lead singer's voice.
Oh, yeah, Andy Partridge. Oh my God. I wish there was more XTC.
I like a good lead singer who has a distinct voice. Let's put it that way. Like, I appreciate that. Like Kate.
This whole performance is in the running for my favorite because it fucking rocks. And I warned Heather I was going to say that because I watched it again just like minutes before we got together. And I was just like, it fucking rocks. And of course, Andy Partridge had a nervous breakdown and stopped touring. So to get to see this and the way it's like, they sound fucking phenomenal. He looks amazing. He has the big black pussy bow on, which I can only love. It honestly fucking rocks. Like it's what I just feel like I want to say they're underrated, but they stopped touring. Like, what an amazing live band were they to not play live, like to stop playing live. It's a travesty. Like, and the vibe, this is the thing. Like, so Chris says, I think I'm a live music person, So, and it's not that I don't appreciate a good record. I absolutely do. But I want, it's like, I like to see live music. I like to listen to live music. I will seek out recordings and videos of live music just to see, because it's a whole experience versus listening to a record. And so this, it's like, I just feel, and that's what first got me into XTC was seeing this, however many years ago, and then, you know, recognize as soon as then they would have like a hit that I would know on MTV or whatever, then realizing that that's the same band. And so from such a young age, but it just, I mean, it is like it has a little funky bass and it's just phenomenal. It's incredible. Like I'm just really blown away by this performance. And the song, like if you listen to the song, the studio version of the song, it's a great song. It's very catchy. You know, not a lot of Ecstasy even is kind of in line with Squeeze to me a little bit, except it does have like kind of more, the vocals have a different uniqueness about them that, you know, but those, they almost kind of have a similar existence in my head or in my younger life, I think. But yes, the live version, it's a whole different song.
Well, XTC has the drum too.
Yes, and then the cymbal where it's just like
yeah, that's XTC for me is the band that uses that reverb drum a lot, which I know is like an 80s thing, obviously. But I don't know, like when I think of music from the 80s, like XTC is up there in terms of like very much the kind of music that the 80s is associated, which is not a bad thing. Like I love music from the 80s for a specific reason because it all very much has a similar flavor to it. Unless you're listening to a thing that's kind of trying not to be that, which there are things on this that are trying not to be that specifically. And then there are things like Klaus Nomi, which I have no idea.
Yeah.
Still what I watched.
Oh my God. Wait,
before we go too deep into Klaus Nomi, though, let me just say about XTC, like, I don't think anyone is like XTC is my favorite rock band.
Right.
You know? And I watched this performance and I think, are they my favorite rock band? Like, is this my favorite rock song that I've heard? Like, it rocks.
Yeah, no, it does rock, and XTC rock. I what a great band, and what a consistently fascinating band. Like that's a band that I really do encourage to like anybody. And Chris, especially since you do like summer songs, to kind of like peruse their discography. They are good. Like they are like continually good. Even their side project. They did a side project called the Dukes of Stratosphere, which is sort of like their psychedelia kind of side project, and it's really great too. And and it is heartbreaking that they stopped doing live, especially because Andy Partridge, who would have thought he'd have stage fright? Because he is like pure motherfucking fire in this. Like, I
mean, that's how it happens. That's the devastating thing. That's what happens. People that seem like natural performers get anxiety and stage fright, and something happens, and you know, a switch flips.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was Bo Burnham. I mean, Bo Burnham literally stopped touring for like almost like, I don't know if he's toured yet. Still, it's almost been a decade now because he was like, I just have anxiety about it. I can't do it. And like, Jesus, if you're having anxiety, what should the rest of us have? Like, Jesus. Well, yeah, I mean, you know what? But think about it. Like, that's the way I think about it. Cause it's like, you are the ones who are on stage. Like, you're subjecting yourself to this intentionally. Like, Jesus Christ, I would hope that you are able to compartmentalize that a little bit. My God, if you can't, why are you doing that thing where you're in front of people all the time? Like, that's pretty rough. But good on them for being committed to the craft of making stuff and being creative.
And thank God for all of us as music listeners, because it's, you know, the music's continually great, like with XTC. But yeah, I too am a fan of live music as well. And I actually want people, like, if I love a studio song, I want it to be different live. I don't want it, because otherwise I hate it. I never understand when people are like, oh, I didn't sound like the album. Well, then why go?
Right. Stay home and listen to the album.
Yeah, save yourself the money and just go listen to your albums, you know? But okay, Chris, you open the box and I gotta get all up in that Klaus Nomi. Holy shit. Okay, this was when I first saw this film, this was one of the most transcendent. And there's a few things in this movie that were transcendent for me that just blew open my mind. And Klaus Nomi was definitely one of them, doing a song Total Eclipse. Never Has a Nuclear Holocaust sounded so enchanting and magical when Klaus Nomi is singing about it, looking like a German expressionist character come to life as a Cupid doll.
Fetish butler robot. It was a note that I took. a toy of a fetish butler robot.
Straight out of central casting from Repo the Genetic Opera. I mean,
oh, don't. No, Chris.
Let's see actually talent. Talent.
I would rather invoke Donnie Darko to fucking Klaus Nomi than Repo the Genetic Opera. I'm sorry. Unless you're talking about the one scene with Bill Moseley and Ogre from Skinny Puppy. That scene's good, but that's because it's Bill Moseley and it's Ogre. But I digress. I do love Skinny Puppy. Anyways,
I don't get this. I don't get this, I guess, is the problem.
Well, that's okay. That's part of the journey.
Right.
That's part of the journey, is that it's something so fresh and wholly unique. And I mean, to me, that's me. I always get so pumped when I see artists that are just that it's not intentional. Because like if somebody tries to intentionally be like, oh, I'm going to be weird or whatever, it fails because you're faking the funk. And to quote George Clinton, you fake the funk, your nose grows like Pinocchio. Like you can't do it. Klaus Nomi is just himself. He's just organically this trained opera singer, making new sort of like new wave electronic opera. And it's fantastic. And I love the dancers. I think he sings like an angel. Huh?
It's a true show. You get a real show. Like it's going to a show. This is not a concert. It's not just it's not a music performance. I mean, it's all of those things, but it's like you really get a full show with Klaus Nomi.
Yes. Oh, completely. I mean, and him alone, like the there's the physical presentation, but he is so magical. Like I once wrote an article about where I kind of took the theory of like if angels, like, and when I say angels, I don't mean like sort of stereotypical sort of like Anne Geddes babies with wings angels. I'm talking about like, like when you read like ancient descriptions of angels and they have like 80 sets of eyes and like 3 heads or something, just like crazy. I'm like, what would they sing like? And the two singers, I thought, like, to me, that sing was like something so ethereal and out of some kind of strange divinity. Is like, what was Klaus Nomi? And the other one was King Diamond, because it's me. And
that angel King Diamond.
I love it. Maybe it's fallen angel, but still, it counts. I love King Diamond, but Klaus Nomi, I just find so, and because he's so different. I mean, Chris, you talk about things having an 80s sound. To me, Klaus Nomi doesn't sound like anything. Like,
that's fair.
I mean, it is new wave, but he himself is so unique. Like his presence, and some of his music, like the Nomi song, like if you ever listen to that, it's just almost like, it almost could bring you to tears. Like it's so pure. There's such a purity to his voice. It's so beautiful. And I love this. And he's totally having fun here too. Like you can tell he's like enjoying himself. And there's a really good documentary, if you haven't seen it, about him called I think it's called the Nomi song. I want to say, it's been years I've seen it, but he opened once for Twisted Sister, by the way. And I felt bad because even the guys in Twisted Sister were like, we don't know who the fuck booked this. And they're like, this guy is an artist. He's obviously, this is not our crowd. Like it didn't go well. But yeah. So Chris, you were just, are you just like sort of stunned? Are you still just like, what the fuck did I see?
I mean, now that you've explained it, I mean, and looking into it, I mean, again, it's like David Bowie, but taking it a step further, right? Like never breaking character is what it feels like. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's a more intense David Bowie.
Well, Rachel, I know. Are you thinking what I'm thinking with the David Bowie reference?
No, what?
Because when David Bowie was like, this is where I'm like I get to nerd out so hardcore. But when David Bowie was on SNL, when he did The Boys Keep Swinging, his 2 backup singers behind him was Klaus Nomi and Joey Arias. And Joey's still, of course, we sadly lost Klaus very early on as a casualty of AIDS. Joey is still with us and does the best Billie Holiday you will ever hear. Joey Arias is an amazing drag queen. So fierce. But they're behind David Bowie, and David Bowie is wearing the Nomi getup, which I love David Bowie. He didn't commit to the makeup. I don't know. I love David Bowie. That outfit belongs in Klaus Nomi. and it almost hurts me to say that because we're all, so many of us are children of David Bowie in so many ways. But yeah, but David Bowie, Klaus was most definitely on his radar.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I equate it to.
It's astute.
You sensed it. Your spidey senses went off with that. As opposed to your Spiz senses, as in Athletico Spiz 80, which I'm betting you had probably never heard of, Chris. This is a
band.
This is a deep cut for Americans. It's kind of a slightly deep cut probably for the UK as well. But Athletico Spiz 80 I love this. Where's Captain Kirk? This is one of my favorite songs in the movie. I love oh my God, the energy. Spiz, the lead singer, he is a riot. Like, he does that tongue thing that a lot of musicians do where it's like blah, 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 like that. Right. But he does it, and it's just funny because it's like, oh, he's a rascal. He's just a rascal, as opposed to like when some metal guys do that and it's just nasty, and it's kind of like, okay, dude, like, calm down. Like guitarist like Steve Sex Summers or whatever from Pretty Boy Floyd. I don't know if he did that, but if your middle name is Sex, if you probably have done some kind of gross tongue thing that have made women very uncomfortable in your vicinity. Right? But Spiz is great. And the thing is, this is true punk, because this is the guy that, if you wanted to really be like, I want to be a rock star, you wouldn't change your band name like 80 times. And he did. Like, here are the Athletico Spiz 80. I have in my notes, it goes also Spiz Energy, Spizzoli, which also sounds like would make a delicious pizza. And my personal favorite, the Spizzles.
Well, and I feel like there's some other band, and I can't remember who it is, where there's like some famous photographs where someone's wearing a Spiz shirt too.
Oh God.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Like,
it was kind of the weirdest thing. I feel like most people don't necessarily know Spiz. So it's one of those where you're like, he's wearing a Spiz shirt,
Yeah. That this is, oh my God. And this is, for me, like, I love the studio version of the song, but this is the iconic version of Where's Captain Kirk. Chris, are you changing your name to Chris Stachiw after hearing this?
Terrible name for a band. It just is. We all know it is. We all know it's
punk, baby.
I know, but that's like a stereotype of a punk name. You know what I mean?
It's better than Jizz.
Great.
Athletico Jizz.
Yeah, I mean,
Jizzoli.
Jizzles. The
Jizzles.
Jizzle.
I think that would be funnier, frankly.
The Jizzles. I would not want to see the Jizzles.
Jizzles.
Oh boy.
That would be a hard.
We're getting delirious, and we're about a third of the way through.
I know. Urgh is breaking us, our sanity, but we love it. We love it. Well, punk. Well, we'll go to something. How's this, Chris? We'll go into something more traditional punk. We'll go to hardcore punk. We'll go into arguably one of the most famous punk bands. And that's the Dead Kennedys.
Not the Go-Go's.
We'll get to the Go-Go's. I got a little loosey goosey with
Jello Biafra. You wanted Jello Biafra.
I love Jello Biafra. I used to have a bumper sticker that said, "What would Jello do?" That bookshelf broke though, so that bumper sticker's kind of gone. But I love the Dead Kennedys. This is prime DK. Like, and it actually makes me sad because knowing, like, I don't know how much about the story, but the band famously tried to sue Jello years ago because I can't remember what jeans company wanted to use their song Holiday in Cambodia for an ad, which this sounds like a fucking SNL sketch. This does not sound like reality, but it is. And he said no because he has integrity. And the rest of the bands, well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, as much as, and I mean, if you're punk, it doesn't matter. You could be Ian MacKaye, like, you could be like the guy that has stuck to his values the most, or her values the most. Somebody will still call you a poser, sell out. You can't escape it. But Jello, like, to his credit, was like, no way. And the band wanted that money, and so they sued him. So, but you get to see a happier times with the DKs here. And East Bay Ray as the guitarist, like that almost like pseudo Dick Dale tones with punk is so good. That's a sweet spot. And
I would send this performance to anyone as like, here, watch this. And I don't even know if I feel like Jello's voice is less annoying than we know it to be in this performance. Because that's the thing. Like, I feel like that's where it doesn't stick on my playlist, because in reality, I can only take so much of his voice. So, but it doesn't mean that I don't completely revere and love the Dead Kennedys, but this performance is so great. Like it is Jello's intensity as well as that it's just like musically, sonically so. So he has those like olive latex gloves on.
Yes.
Sinister. Like there's something perverted about those gloves. Like I become obsessed with the gloves itself. Like, you know what I'm saying? The gloves themselves.
Yeah.
Are they not crazy? Is that not a weird like there? And I've never seen that color of gloves. Like, what are they, like trash man gloves? What is he doing? But it's so effective. It's like no one, until you get to Lux, it's like no one has like vinyl or what, you know what I mean? Like there's like he's a strangler. It's like he's a there's something. Those are like some kind of trash man strangler gloves. Like it's just, I don't know. I really like it. Like I do hold it up as one of my favorite. And just when he's going down the list of there's no punk in Argentina.
Yeah.
Like down the list and he gets to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like, he's sweating his ass off.
Yeah.
Sweating his ass off with strangler trash man gloves.
Straight.
It's so good.
Those gloves are a choice. They're a very distinct choice, that's for sure. And I agree with his voice. That podcast project that I worked on, he was part of it, and I edited some of the interview that he did, and he had a very distinct voice, so I knew when it was him talking. I also had the highest audio quality of anybody who worked on the project. It was crisp as all be. I was like, oh, this guy must be an audio guy, because I didn't know who he was. That again, Dead Kennedy's not a band I'm eminently familiar with. I know of Holiday in Cambodia, and that's about it. So
I do have another little story though. So going back to when I would have been like junior high age or whatever, and even this being like this kind of like a weird, fearful, perverted punk performance, like it's very cool and leaves an impression. But when I was in junior high, there was a small record store in the mall, in one of the malls that I would go to, and I used to go and visit Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables for like 2 years before I actually bought it, because I would like scare myself with it. Like when I was a little kid, there was a Peter and the Wolf record I had that I used to use to scare myself. And then also my mom's ELO record with the ruby slippers.
Oh God. Yes.
That to scare myself. But this was like, I was like 12 or something, and I would just go and visit it, and it's like I felt like I wasn't. It's not like it had a sticker. This was pre the days when anything would have had something on it, but it just looked so. I was just like, there is something in here that like I'm not supposed to have, but I want. And also at the time, even the title of the record, I just thought, I'm like, this is clever. Like I was, as a kid, I was just like, what? Fresh fruit for rotting vegetables? Like, what are they doing? I need to figure out what's going on with this. But it's so funny because I'm not, I would watch horror movies. I had seen everything. I had been exposed to everything by the time I was that age. And yet I was somehow scared of this Dead Kennedys record.
I love that. It's always it's always like kind of the slightly weird things that I think scare you when you're a kid. Because and this is like embarrassing to admit now, but my mom had Def Leppard's Pyromania, and that part at the beginning of Rock of Ages where you hear this guy go that freaked me out for some reason when I was little. And I would like you, I was all like I grew up watching a lot of horror movies. I mean, fairly liberal like parenting as far as like a lot of movies got to watch. And so, but yeah, it was like stuff like that. It'd be like that. Like where I'd be like, oh God, it's the devil. It's the devil. This this like Def Leppard album.
Totally. It's like backmasking. You're like, what's he really telling me though?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's they're probably saying Pete Willis, come back to the band. Sorry, it's a Def Leppard joke there.
Something for the boomers.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Something for the that's gonna be our new podcast called Something for the Boomers.
Oh, we're talking about Forrest Gump.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus Christ now. Why do you know, dude? You mentioned Jello's voice. The Hard Times once had a headline that cracked me up where it said prank caller instantly regrets calling Jello Biafra as he's on the phone for 5 hours.
I mean, he's just like of an old school variety, right? Like that's just like no nonsense whatsoever at all.
He's a raconteur.
He's like Glenn Danzig.
Nah,
I don't eat no hot dogs or whatever the hell.
What the fuck?
Don't you remember that when his Facebook got hacked and Glenn Danzig was like, it's something about eating hot dogs, and then he had to be like, I didn't post that. I don't eat no hot dogs.
I don't. Oh my God, I missed it, but that's amazing. That is.
I just feel like very no nonsense. Like you're not a whole lot of fun at parties, are you, Jello Biafra? Like
Jello is very funny though. You should say
sure, but you know what I mean. The 5 hours thing is intentional.
It depends though. That dude, he collects weird vinyl, and he knows he's got some very fascinating tape. There's a chapter on Jello's record collection, The Incredibly Strange Records, or a music book, volume 2. I'm sorry. I just deep cut. It's a great book though.
So the Glenn Danzig thing, because I'll probably never get to share this story again, was he had to clarify that he was hacked on Facebook. He says, I was hacked. Anything that was posted in the last month was not me. I don't smoke weed. I don't eat hot dogs. And I definitely don't eat my own cum! ! When I find the piece of shit that did this, in parentheses, and I will, they will pay the ultimate price. And that's posted with a picture of him, like with his arms crossed.
What's the ultimate price? Is he going to murder them?
You know, maybe listen to his music.
The exclamation points prove that he does eat his own cum.
Yeah,
that's an admission of guilt.
Allegedly.
Somebody doth protest a little too much.
Yeah. Glenn, it's okay. It's fine. Nobody has a problem with it but you, apparently.
Yeah, I think people have more of a problem with him making movies than they do with him eating his jizzles.
Eating the jizzles.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I hate myself. But I love myself at the same time. You know what else I love is the band magazine.
Yes.
This is oh my God. And Chris, were you familiar with magazine at all?
No.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Oh yay. Okay, that's good. That makes me happy. I feel like magazine are one of the most underrated, for my money, post-punk bands. Like
Agreed.
and because Howard Devoto, the lead singer, was an original founding member of the band the Buzzcocks, which are also really great. But totally, oh my God, classic. And magazine, I find just so enigmatic. There's always an enigmatic quality to Howard Devoto in general as a performer. Like he doesn't look like anybody else. He doesn't really move like anybody else. The lyrics are definitely not like anybody else's too. And again, this is a song I'm surprised that got picked. I don't know. The thing about this movie with the recordings is every band that they recorded did 2 to 3 songs. And I'd love to know what some of the other songs were. Some things have surfaced with some of the other bands, but not a lot. I would love to know what the other magazine songs are. But this is great.
And how about that keyboard setup? How insane is that? It looks almost like there's even a giant touch tone telephone in there or something. It's like a whole room. It's like a cubicle.
Oh God, it is. Yeah.
Put up at his office job to go play 15 keyboards. I love it.
I do too. I don't I miss old school synth partially because of the pageantry of the setup. Like I love seeing like, especially like old Roxy Music clips where Brian Eno.
Yeah.
It's like, it is, you're right. It's like they totally build like these cubicles of all various machines. It's so cool. And yeah. And especially, and it's even crazier because Magazine, I mean, it wasn't like they were the Human League. It wasn't like they were nothing but synth, which apparently by the way, I read just today, I read a sample from Martin Ware, who was an original member of Human League and went on to be in Heaven 17.
Yes.
That he wrote, we were disappointed because they recorded the Human League and didn't use it.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm like, no offense to Invisible Sex, but come on. Like, I much rather would have had the Human League.
Well, someone had posted too that they had some really delusional ideas about themselves. Like, I can't remember what God, I read so much, especially lately, but it was something like that. They were saying no one was really doing synthesizers like they were at that time. And the person was like, every single band had a synthesizer. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it was the age of the synthesizer. No, you think how far up your bottom is your head if you think you're like revolutionizing keyboards in 1980 or whatever.
Right. Well, especially by 80, because I mean, I think there might be some validity to that if we're talking like early Human League where they were having to kind of like create some of those machines. I mean, I remember like, but again, a lot of those bands did that. I remember an interview with OMD where Andy McCluskey was talking about how and God, I feel terrible. I blanked on the name of of the other guy at OMD. I'm such an Andy fangirl, but like where he took apart like an alarm clock or something. It took some of those guts to help create like a rough hewn synth.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it. Obviously, those types of a lot of people built their own stuff, and people still do.
Yeah, Paul Humphreys.
Yes,
I think. But yeah. But it makes me also wonder. Like, I wonder if there were other bands recorded that weren't used. Like,
you gotta assume so, right?
Yeah,
they had to because people. I mean, like you said, if they. Oh, other bands or just other songs?
Other bands. No, because I know they did other songs, but I'm wondering if there are other bands that didn't.
I know. Actually, I found something where it said that there was someone that didn't get used. Oh, man. This is like right along the lines of what we're talking about, too.
Are you like me where your notes are kind of like if an outsider comes in and they're like, is she looking for like the Shroud of Turin? Like what?
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. I'm like, the Shroud of Turin. What was the one band I found that they said got left out? And I was like, very interesting.
Because my notes totally look like I one time like posted like a sample of my notes on social and an academic said it's just like that looks like insanity.
Oh geez. I mean, the amount of things I've thrown on the floor so far that we've already covered is like pretty crazy. I will figure out a way to recycle all of this paper from my notes because yes, I have a pile of paper at my feet.
Oh my, it's
I really wish I could find that, but I guess I can't.
It'll come up.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah. So after that we get the au pairs who I love, and I imagine that's kind of that's the thing is like there's so many bands that are very much like cult at best over here that I love that we're getting to see.
Virtually forgotten. Like almost nobody knows au pairs, I feel like.
Yeah, and they should, because the au pairs were so good. And the cool thing is like this band openly feminist. And that might not sound like that big of a deal maybe to people now, but back then, even artists like say like Patti Smith, if somebody would ask like, oh, are you a feminist? They, would be like, oh, I don't like that term.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of female artists they felt like they bought into the sort of myth that it means you hate men or whatever, right. And it's which obviously spoiler alert, it doesn't. It just means you want to be treated like a fucking human being and have the same rights and same autonomy.
You also can hate men, but you don't have to.
Also that.
And you can hate Donnie Darko. I don't know why I'm bad about
That's my one and two moments with Heather tonight. So.
I love it. That and the Strangler trash man gloves. That's gonna live. That phrase is living.
I thought about it too much.
Strangler
I shouldn't have thought about it that much.
Yeah, but the Au Pairs, cool band. I love Come Again. Like this band were all about dealing with and tackling in so many of their songs, including this one, sexual politics, gender politics. In a lot of ways very ahead of their time, because a lot of the bands that you would see that were very openly feminist tended to be a lot more, at least in this era, a lot more folky, and that's not a bad thing. But like Holly and Ear, kind of like a lot of the women's festival kind of crew, which I mean, bless them, because I mean we needed that. Like it's kind of sad that you kind of think some more of like, I love Patti Smith, but it's like, come on, girl. Like, but yeah, so, and actually I do know, and this might actually segue into a bit of research that I know you have, Rachel, because we did conspire a little bit, Chris. I hope this is okay. I feel like the two lovely lasses over here of punk energy have it's like we've interrupted your signal. The Au Pairs, one of the few American critics to champion them was Lester Bangs, who of course is one of my biggest writing heroes, and I adore Lester. And unfortunately, Lester was edited by one of the worst writers in all of rock and music criticism ever. Go ahead, drum roll. Come on,
Robert
Rachel.
Christgau.
Oh God, I was legit, my stomach turned. Chris, are you familiar with Robert Christgau? I probably have. I can't believe I haven't bitched about him on with you on one of Kulturecast previously, because I've bitched about him on shows that had nothing to do with rock and roll. I still work it. So Chris, imagine and we've all known this person, the most boring khaki, even if they're not wearing khakis, they are the definition of fucking khakis.
Sure.
Bland ass, white man who knows he's everything, saran wraps his own shit because he is the shit according to him. All of his takes are brilliant. But he has no soul. He has no soul. He was not, I mean, no love, no passion. That's Robert Christgau. The motherfucker ain't got no soul, is what I'm saying. I can't. But he reviewed Urgh.
And I was on his site today, and it is Geocity. What is it? GeoCities? This is 10 years before I even got the internet, is what this website looks like, essentially. Jesus. Which is pretty hilarious. So I did take a screenshot that I sent to Heather because I couldn't believe what it looks like. But the line that cracked me up, because I mean, it's the album too. So he reviewed the album, not the movie. But it says, for those who find that discos keep them up past their bedtime, here's an encouraging take on what's been happening. Oh. And I just thought, what a nerd. He's writing this in 1991. He's saying, if you need to go home and go to bed early, if it's too late to stay out at the disco and you don't know what the kids are playing anymore, listen to this record.
Oh my God.
That's horrifying.
He is horrifying. He does this thing where all of his album reviews, he does grades like he's some fucking teacher. He reviewed a Tubes album and gave it a C, and I'm like, fuck you. You fucking and it's not that I'm so cherished about my takes. Lester Bang, there's plenty of things Lester bitched about that I love, but he could do it in a way that was interesting and engaging. But also, and I think this is something anybody that's a nonfiction writer, especially critics, should take note, is never be afraid to admit you're wrong or that you've changed your mind. That's one of the things I love the most about Lester is he would be he famously panned the MC5 and then went back, listened to him. He's like, no, this is great. I was totally fucking wrong, and owned up to it. And, that's having a heart. That's caring about it. That's being in it for the right reasons. So
I think some people really get they like the critic aspect, though. It's I think you and I don't necessarily. It's we want to read writers who are not just trashing things or whatever. We want to hear a good take or something interesting, even if they don't like it, something something that they can pull out of it or something. Like the writing and the experience and their thought process is something interesting. And other people are just like, they just want to say C-. Like,
right. That's fair.
Robert Christgau sucks, I think, is the moral of this story. And I'm so glad, Rachel, that you brought up his banal review. Also, there was a documentary made about him called Rock and Roll Animal, and I just want to find whoever fucking titled that and give them a good old est session. You know how like there's 7 minutes in heaven, like that old makeout game where you go in the closet and like go to town with somebody. Again, I never played it, but like go to town, you going downtown like with somebody. Whoa. But sorry. But I would like whoever had been like Robert Christgau, Rock and Roll Animal. I want to do scream therapy in their face for 7 minutes. Cause like, are you shitting me? Rock and Roll Animal, my ass. Oh my God. That's like making a documentary about Pat Boone and call it motherfucking funk sex machine. Like,
what animal would Robert Christgau be?
A tapeworm?
Rock and roll tapeworm.
Rock and roll roundworm.
Why would someone give him that name? Why? Just because of his like length of time in the industry?
I don't know. I mean, why do people do a lot of things? Why would somebody be like, you know, hey, Don Henley, he's a cool guy. People make bad decisions all the time.
Fair. Don Henley is a cool guy.
Now, he is the anti-Elvis, to quote, to invoke the late great Mojo Nixon. What this has to do with Urgh, I really digressed. But you know what? You mentioned, we might as well skip to this because Chris, you alluded to this band earlier, and I would have to gather this is one of the biggest selling points for the movie for a lot of people is Devo.
I think it's got to be like the biggest one, right?
Them and the Police are probably like the two, right? Wouldn't you say like are the two big ones?
For sure. And the trailer, they had a trailer too that I feel like was very Devo heavy. Am I imagining that?
No, you're 100%. Yeah, because I rewatched that earlier today for this, and yeah, like Devo's all up in that. But Devo should be like, this is classic. This is like prime, and I'm a huge Devo fan.
Me too.
Oh my God.
I was a Devo kid. I mean, I've talked on other podcasts before. Cheap Trick was one of my first bands I came to pretty organically as a young kid. Ramones, another one. That it's like perfect. Both of those, like perfect pop kid music, you know? And Devo was bizarrely, maybe, I don't know. It seems natural again that it's kids' music to me since I was exposed to it. But my parents had that first record. I saw them on SNL. And
yes.
this performance is just like, it is exactly what you could expect. The way that they look, it's like knowing that they're this Ohio art school band, you know, first of all, it's like they have almost 50s collegiate where it is like the khakis and the heather gray sweatshirt, but it's like torn and then they're held together with tape that looks like crossing guard, whatever you call it, sash. What is it? And you know, and of course the Energy Dome. But it's like they just deliver everything that I could have wanted from the time that I was a kid. And I also forget that that they left such an impression on me. So there was a K-Rock record. Like I said, I used to work at a record store when I was a child for a family friend. And I would label the dividers and I would put the records away and I would unpack records and break down boxes and whatever. And I would do it mainly for industry magazines. Like I would get Billboard magazine. I mean, I would get records too. I'd be, you know, I had credit. I could take, you know, I'd go home with records. But so 2 records from that period of time. There was a K-Rock record that was a fan, you know, record, and they had a contest for people to make Devo songs. And
oh my God,
I still have it. It's Devotees. So it's K-Rock Devotees. And there is a version of Jocko Homo that's on a touch tone phone. It's one of my favorite anythings ever recorded. I love it. And of course it's like Devotee, it almost doesn't get more novelty than Jocko Homo on a touch tone phone. But I was also like Dr. Demento and, you know,
yes.
Who are our favorite fish head guys?
Oh, Barnes and Barnes.
Yes,
my boys.
Barnes, which Heather wrote so beautifully about. And it's like Devo almost they almost go in that category, but not really. And then, so I had that K-Rock record and then the Devo Live record that I think was around that same time. And it's phenomenal. So that it's like, you get to hear all the songs that you love, from the early, what we think of as Devo, and those two records, it's so bizarre that I listened to those so much. And my roller skating years, which would again be like that 7, 8, 9, like kind of those young roller skating years, or whenever Whip It came out. Whip It was like the ultimate roller skating jam at the roller rink, and I just felt like I had already been on this, I'm like, I had been hip to Devo for a few years, but they were just, it's not like I am going to Devo shows now, although, I probably should have been, but they're just so formative. And I feel like in a lot of ways opened me up to more arty and experimental music that I would listen to or even play later, like it's so bizarre how, and they were so in this, at this point, they're so just in sync with each other. I mean, I know that's part of it. Or I'm getting too excited, but the song where they literally like synchronize hop. They're like, they're like in a little formation. They're doing synchronized hopping. I'm like, I just love it. As opposed to Invisible Sex, which, they're one is like, they're kind of the same thing, but it's like, you see how one is like half serious and another one is like so incredibly thought out, there's no room for, errors.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. Devo. And, I think part of the appeal to me of this era and this movie so tied to it is that there are certain artists that if they had emerged in any other time period, they would be firmly underground. Like Devo, like it's insane that Devo are so well known. Like it's justice because Devo are phenomenal. They're definitely one of my favorite bands ever. And, incredibly, innovative visually, sonically, ideas, cultural commentators that were so needed of that era and just as politically relevant as, as like, say, the Dead Kennedys, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, like probably on a little more like subtle, but still it's there, and the ideas are there. But it's like this performance, I think this is for anybody that just knows them for Whip It, like, please, seek this out. That's a good thing is all of these clips are individually on YouTube.
Yes.
Right. And, and the whole movie's on Vimeo, which I didn't know. That's good to know, Chris. So.
The style of it also really kind of foretells what we would know as a YouTube experience. Really. Right. Like how many of us have, where you start watching a live video and then it wants to give you another one, another one, another one. It's like, I've easily created these 34 band, accidental playlists going down a hole on YouTube, just watching live performances. So It is really cool. Like people would complain about the movie as, not really being a documentary. You want to talk about something like Last Waltz or what, or Stop Making Sense. Like these are concert films. They're easier to understand. Like at the time there are people saying like, oh, it's not like a real documentary. It's just clips of, them different bands playing different shows. But it's funny how aligned it is with a modern experience of learning about or consuming live music via videos, clips or video clips of live shows, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. Oh God, that's brilliant. I never thought about it that way, but that's so true. And it's also like for those of us, like I have like a mixtape brain anyways. So this just like ties into it. Yeah. Like so well.
Well, I mean, again, Devo, I guess like if you were to name the big ones, it would probably be the Police, Dead Kennedys, and Devo, right? And maybe the Go-Go's and the Cramps.
1,000% the Go-Go's and also the Cramps.
Right. And I think that like those 5 are the big names here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Joan Jett, and Gary Numan. Again, if you went a little bit further, but to your point, Heather, like the fact that Devo is as well known as it is. And again, Mark Mothersbaugh worked with Disney as recently as like a couple years ago. Like,
yeah,
because he does work now as a composer, which is awesome in and of itself. So yeah, Devo and the Police really made it further than most of these bands did for the most part.
Yeah. Well, and even like, because I'm glad you mentioned the Go-Go's. Because here we're getting to see them in that cusp period where they weren't signed and they were still kind of like a punk band. Because that's the thing, like they were real true punk rock musicians. But they're kind of getting a little more polished. But I love the way Belinda Carlisle looks here too. Like I love the short hair, and that dress is super cute. I feel really bad because apparently like she got some shit for being quote unquote chubby, which anybody that bitches about somebody's weight like that can first of all suck it. Like, evolve. But also like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like Belinda Carlisle's awesome. And I think such a great clip of the Go-Go's.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Beauty and the Beat would become my most danced to record when it came out. Like still to this day, because I think I probably listened to it 10 times a day and was like, peak tween dancing. Every song on it is a hit. And this would have been my first glimpse at the Go-Go's too, would have been watching that. And it was all women and they sounded great and they looked great. And it was still half punk. So it's like super catchy, but it wasn't so polished. And even, not that the record was so polished, it definitely wasn't punk. It was incredible at, pop music, like really incredible pop music. But it was just really inspirational because they kind of all had their own look and they all had their own thing. And whether they seemed proficient, like when you hear interviews and you read stuff and you listen to them and whatever, it's like, well, everyone just picked up and learned, it's like, I think Charlotte was the only one that was like raised as a musician, but they sound incredible and they seem like they're having fun. And it's interesting that Jane probably, which I feel like she traditionally looks like she's having a tremendous amount of fun, seems the most serious about playing her instrument in this clip, like
totally.
I'm just like, wow, I want to study her playing. Like, well, it was very exciting. That they were an exciting band because when we see Joan Jett, which I won't go into a lot, but you think about the Runaways, I'm trying to think of what bands I would have seen that were females, and it's like the Runaways were still such a put together, it's like, and obviously just like, there's so much I don't even want to think about in the grooming of that band.
Yeah.
But to look at the Go-Go's, it's like, oh my God, these were women that were having fun. They had completely their own style. They came out of that LA punk scene that wouldn't have existed without David Bowie, to go back to that aspect, and it's really, and again, like, you bring up, there's certain looks. We're used to people looking a certain way women looking a certain way who are on stage. And so they were given some leeway in that respect that they could just be themselves. And it was really exciting. I pretty much follow all the Go-Go's on social media and I still get really excited for anything that they do. And I was so happy. I hate the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I was happy that they made it in there if it's going to exist, so this is I would dare say the Go-Go's are the second most biggest band that ended up, that you don't see it in this clip because it hadn't happened. But they are literally in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, It
is because
Devo notoriously can't get voted in.
And to be fair, the Go-Go song, like that's like one of the two songs that they're known for too, which pretty much there's only one other band that you can say that about on here, which is the Police. Because I would say Roxanne is one of the songs that the Police is known for, which I think it's interesting that those two bands get kind of the opportunity to play the song that they have. Because I think for the Go-Go's, that's like, if somebody knows the Go-Go's, there's a 50-50 shot that they know this song or Our Lips Are Sealed, right? Like it's one or the other or both, but it's not going to be, I don't know what else there is in terms of mainstream appeal for the Go-Go's, but those are the two songs of theirs that I know.
It's so humbling for me to talk to a person younger than me, this much younger than me, about music that I grew up with or that I revere or experience, because to me, I'm just like, it is not like, I think there's 10 songs that the Go-Go's are known for that are not even deep cuts, like even slightly,
I believe it.
there's a couple that are the biggest singles. And then the Police, I feel like before they even are like the hugest band, you have 3 albums that are incredible that each have songs on them that, I think a lot of people, again, unfortunately, you're talking about people that are over 40 conservatively, but I think there's so much there. So it's interesting. It's interesting I always wonder, like, what will somebody know? What does and again, it's probably because it's like, I think of people that only know certain music because it was on the Tony Hawk skateboarding video games, like, or just,
that is a thing.
Jackass, Minutemen, like how many people knew Minutemen from Jackass theme? I don't know. It's cool. It's always cool to learn about how people know things. So it's good to know that, someone 20 years plus younger than me probably will know 2 go-go songs, will know 2 Police songs,
I would assume that the Police, like most people would know like 3 or 4 of their songs, I would assume. Some of them are pretty big, right?
I would assume so.
Roxanne, Message in a Bottle.
But then again, I'm the person, I get so lost in my own head where I'm like, John Otway. Do you know who John Otway is?
No.
And
let's move it along.
Performance art.
Ma'am, this is an Arby's. Like, yeah.
The performance art of it all.
I and this is a true story. I once got caught singing part of the song in the aisleway of a Harp's grocery store. And I turned around and there was a woman who was very conservatively dressed and she looked horrified and she walked away from me very fast.
Is this an Arkansas only grocery store?
I don't Harps. Yeah. It might be. It's a chain. It's I don't know if I think there's some in Oklahoma. I think maybe just this area. I know I don't know if you guys even want to talk about John Otway, but I have to because he does all these somersaults. He's just a nutter in the best possible way. I actually think Cheryl's Going Home is a fucking great song. He does so many things that I love. And the fact that his somersault is so ferocious that his belt like tears itself away from his pants. Like it rips through the belt loops. Amazing. The fact that at one point he picks up a violin only to just throw it like up to the side of the stage like a minute later. I love that.
Such a stompy march of a song, like it's hard to not get into the song.
Yeah, especially when it goes choo 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 down the tracks like that. And it's like, it's just, it's so good. And the fact that this subject would come up for him years later in 1990, where he wrote a rock opera about Cheryl.
Wow.
I find that fascinating.
Did Cheryl have a restraining order against him?
I imagine Cheryl had several, but and who would
give it? I took the note that it says he gives it his all. It's a note that I wrote regarding this performance.
He
really goes for it.
Yes, gusto.
He's going for it in a big way.
It's rife with gusto. And he also does something that appears elsewhere in this film and what arguably might be my number one favorite, which is he does the whole thing where he has the mic in his phone, the microphone in his mouth.
Right.
Yes.
Also demonstrated by one of my patron saints, our Lord and Savior, Lux Interior of the Cramps, because holy shit. And this performance was so iconic for the film that a lot of the poster art for the VHS, like particularly for the VHS release, it's a close-up of Lux.
Right.
Like, oh my God. And this was so key. I had known about the Cramps before I saw this. And the seeds were firmly planted already that the Cramps are already like one of my favorite bands ever. And this just cemented it. I mean, the songs tear it up and he tears the damn thing up. Like, holy shit. Like at one point, like when he's got the microphone in his mouth, he's making all these great, like just primordial, like that's the thing. The Cramps are like, yeah. I mean, and it's like the Cramps to me have always had that great kind of almost like primordial rock and roll, swampy, swagger. about them. And I swear at one point, Ivy looks like she is like, oh God, like, because, you know, she's like, get that out of your mouth. She looks kind of like grossed out, but she's like a pantheress in those pants. I to this day would kill for a pair of gold lame pants, but
and the camera loves that, you know, like it in a way, like it's so professional. They are one of the best live bands. They were one of the best live bands, and it, in a bizarre way, it's like it looks like a produced video versus a performance, except that's how their performances work. You know, like I just kept thinking, wow, like he, you know, not only does the camera love Lux, he knows where it is at all times, you know, and just it's like the vocalization that you were talking about. That's probably my favorite part. But watching him just rub his pants, and it barely looks like they look like when they say like a second skin, like that's a gross expression, but it's like truly you can't really tell. It's like it just seems like a part of his body, those pants. They're so broken into his body and so thin, you know, but it's like on some conscious level, I don't necessarily even love the music of the Cramps. This is sacrilege. But if you want to, but it's like the way they perform is so incredible. Like I don't, you know, there's a few songs that stand out for me that I'm always going to listen to, but will I sit and listen to it? But do I get into like a Cramps thing where I'm listening to a ton of Cramps? No. I don't, you know, that's not one of those bands. It's like Echo and the Bunnymen is a band like that for me. I'll listen to Echo and the Bunnymen. I won't listen. It's like the rockabilly-ness of the Cramps is like not a genre that I engage in very frequently, but knowing how, you know, it's like, I'll watch a live performance of them anytime. You know, those are videos I will watch any.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a treat. And this band now, I like their album Date with Elvis is probably one of my favorite albums like ever of all time. Like it's tattooed in my heart at this point. But yeah, I mean, I never got to see them live either in person, sadly. A late friend of mine got to see them several times, and he said there was one show where the AC died, and this was in New Orleans in the summer.
Oh, no.
And Lux was so sweaty, like he took off his pump and just poured the sweat out of it on the crowd. And my friend Scott was like, let me guess, Heather, you would have been up there front and center. And I was like, rock and roll baptism, bitch. Like I know it's gross, but I love Lux. You know, Lux means Bucks. Remember the name. I mean, it's yeah. And what's fascinating, there was a faux pas in this movie though, with at the end when they list all the band members in the credits, they list the bassist as Kid Congo. And anybody that knows what Kid Congo looks like, you know immediately that is not Kid Congo. It's Julian. I'm trying to remember her actual name. Green Snatch was a nom de Cramps given to her by Lex and Ivy. I'm like, did they not want her in the band for that long? Because that's a terrible Green Snatch.
Well, like, and she wasn't in the band that long, but I think she's great.
Oh, she's fantastic. And I just found out a few months ago, she was in a punk band called The Mad with Screaming Mad George.
Wow.
The special effects guru and artist. I love him. And he's such a really good fucking musician too. So I'm like, holy shit, like what a world we live in where the Cramps have this like direct connection to fucking Screaming Mad George. Like it just makes my heart so happy.
Oh, I thought she was great. And it's like she wasn't with them very long at all. It's hard to find any information.
No, she's not on any of the albums. It sounds like she just did like a handful of shows with them and just kind of, you know, quickly was out and was replaced by Kid.
Right.
But which Kid Congo is amazing. Like, but
yes, another legend.
Oh my God. Like, but yeah, but so in terms, because I know we could keep going on, and I'm sure everybody would love to hear me bitch about UB40. Oh no, Rachel, I'm sorry.
I don't give a single shit about UB40.
Oh, thank God. Oh my God.
Why?
Chris.
They're so good.
just like Donnie Darko.
Yeah, I was waiting for Informant Snow to show up. Jesus.
Oh my God. I can't.
UB40's a little bit of a standout for the wrong reason.
I think it's arguably probably one of the weakest links. I get like the musical wanting to have some musical diversity, and I support that. But it's like we already have Steel Pulse.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You read my mind. Yeah, which
it's like a very different kind of music. Like, I don't know, like, it's like, what, are you trying to check a box here or something? Like, I don't understand. Like, reggae?
It was pretty popular at the time, though. It's like oh God, there was
5 people that were like, we're into the reggae part of this world.
Like, I'm thinking one of the performances, and I can't remember which one it is now, but you see a girl like crowd surfing and she has a The Selector shirt on.
Oh God,
obviously you're getting into like two-tone, and Sting has the Beat shirt, and it's like a lot around this time, it was not uncommon to have various reggae, ska, just white guy bands.
We know Live and Let Die had a reggae interlude with Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that uncommon. It's like in a weird way, it makes sense. Like it's kind of reflective of at the time.
To the world music.
World
Isn't that what it is? Isn't that what you're alluding to? Like Paul Simon and David Byrne, like all being like, we're introducing the world to world music, like Ladysmith Mambazo. Like they already exist before you. You're just like the white guy in the room pointing at him and saying, "Look, go listen to them."
Yeah. There were a fair amount of these bands, though, and I feel like it's kind of reflective of an actual lineup at that time, is that they would throw a ska and reggae band, It wasn't that uncommon. If you have like 4 or 5 bands, like the first opener might be a reggae band.
I guess I don't consider ska and reggae super close, but now that you put it that way, okay, I get it.
Well, and this didn't really happen so much over here, but in England at this time period, ska, like especially like with two-tone and reggae, both were huge. Like were a tremendously huge. I mean, and a lot of British bands were definitely. I mean, even Bauhaus has a lot of dub beats, and I mean, the Godfathers of God. Huge reggae fans. But yeah, UB40 is terrible though. I don't know why we couldn't have had the Selector. Now that you mentioned that, Rachel, I would have rather heard the Selector.
I know.
Because the Selector are good. The specials are great. Like the Beat. I would have loved to have had the Beat. R.I.P. Rankin Roger. Like UB40 to me have always. Part of it's that dude's voice. I fucking hate his voice. I can't. It just hits a note in my brain where I just can't. But to me, it's like safe. It's like when I mean, I admit, have I researched UB40 extensively? No. So I will admit that fully, but it just seems like, oh, here's a safe way to present like music from other cultures to white people so they're not scared. It just feels a little like Pat Boone-y. Thinking of Pat Boone. Right. It just feels a little bit like that.
Chris was saying too, it's another, I think Chris is presenting it more as like a showcase of like, look at me, the great, powerful white musician.
Yeah.
I can show you what only I could know because I have the money to travel to these places and learn of such things.
Don't you love Ladysmith Black Mambazo as well, guys? Sure, Paul. Whatever you say, Paul.
So it's not all that different, I guess, where it just feels like either taking advantage or appropriation, as we would call it, today. But it wasn't uncommon. It really wasn't uncommon. But UB40, they were kind of like they were the only ones that really got on top 40 American, Excuse me, American top 40.
Anyway, tears of blood start running down my cheek.
Are we talking about Steel Pulse? Where are we at on the list?
I don't even know at this point.
I was going to say UB40 still putting out albums as recently as 2021. Heather.
Well, so you know what, the flu still exists too.
Yeah.
Very much does.
Both bands should have broken up after 3 years. I think 3 years is the perfect length of time for a band.
No, so, I want to be together so long that we can become classics and tour with other classic bands.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah, I can't.
An oldies, a nostalgia package.
Yeah,
tour.
You're a nostalgia act now, boys.
You remember like when they raped the carcass of fucking Neil Diamond with Red Red Wine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
I'm not even a big Neil
that was
Diamond
the one
fan.
that was on the, that was the radio song. I
Yeah.
feel like
That was huge.
That's the
Oh my
song I know
God.
by UB40.
Yeah.
Irie.
Oh my God. Or they did an Elvis cover for Sliver, the Sharon Stone movie based on the Ira Levin.
Oh heaven.
Why do I remember this?
Heavens. I'm going back to my conservative language. That's how that made me feel.
That's fair. That's so fair.
Falling in love, right?
Proper swear.
No, Chris, no.
It's like, I don't know. It's like the white person's idealized version of that music. It's like inoffensive. Inoffensive.
Exactly. It's Pier 1. I know Pier 1
as offensive as Jello
it's Pier
Biafra
1.
is, this is as inoffensive as he is offensive.
I love Jello.
Oh.
They should have just had more Dead Kennedys instead of this, or had a proper band that, again, like there's so many like
Toots and the Maytals. Give them a spot. Come on. I mean, they can't be that old.
Give Tootie and John Mayall. I'll take anything over
It's just such a weird standout. It's like, did we wander into like Live Aid all of a sudden?
We just blew for real.
Yes, that super group where Tootie from the Facts of Life and Sean Mayall formed a band at Live Aid. Yes.
I mean, UB40 would perform at Live Aid, wouldn't
Were they on Live Aid?
If they weren't, they probably would have had an opportunity to, because they were formed in 78.
You know who was at Live Aid? The Power Station with Michael DeBar. I just think that's cool. See, I'm positivity.
It was in Philly where I'm at right now. There were a lot of bands that were on.
That's true. Adam Ant. I'm surprised we don't have Adam Ant in this movie.
I was going to say the same thing. Where's Adam Ant in all of this?
Yeah.
We had to have the police 3 times. That's what it is.
Yeah, and Invisible Sex, because apparently somebody had some incriminating photos of Miles Copeland.
No kidding. And they weren't allowed to show their faces, but they were allowed to be in the movie.
Oh my God.
Half of them were allowed to play real guitars.
That was that's terrible. Actually, a band you mentioned earlier, Rachel. If we're talking like legendary punk bands, X.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And looking like the, grandparents of the scene, essentially in this too. It's like so established in such a short period of time. It feels like, because there's another band. What's the other God, this is really,
there's so many bands.
Alley Cat. So we see
Alley Cat
first, and it's weird because I was like, this is kind of a variation on X, like with the double vocals, and I never really thought of it, not that it's a genre, but then you hear X and you're like, X is X, nobody's X, Yeah.
Though I am glad you mentioned the Alley Cats, because I feel like that's an LA punk band that I think I've even seen like interviews with other bands that were like, oh, this is a band that should have been bigger and people should talk about more. They had a lot of respect. And I know they did like one album called Nightmare City. I think it's called Nightmare City. But yeah, really cool band. And yeah, X to me, and I love it how punk, like, and a lot of people when they think of punk music, I don't think they think about things like this, of how you'll have like a retro influence in the playing. I mean, because that's the thing, like Billy Zoom, the guitarist, I mean, has a rockabilly background.
Yeah.
Right.
And he incorporates that like so beautifully, and is also, to quote Exene, it's like if anybody's ever seen Decline of Western Civ, Exene is so adorable that we're just like, this is the handsomest man. Like, was it just say something like the handsomest man in rock and roll or something? And poor John Doe, I'm sure, is like, thanks, honey. But Billy Zoom is just so great. And I love X. Exene was one of those figures too. When I got into punk, I was like, man, I want to be cool. Like, she has such a style.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, and she would wear kind of like those 40s dresses and the house dress kind of stuff, and still does to some extent. And when I was in high school, I would find those exact same types of dresses at, yard sales and hospital shops and thrift stores or whatever. But I would hand sew them raise the waist and like chop them off and hem them so they were short, but it was always that type of dress. It's like she could absolutely like, rule it, wearing it exactly the way it was, just having this, like, it looked really comfortable and whatever. It's like, I'd get the same dresses and just modify them. But I think I was very influenced by her style. I'm probably still influenced by her style.
Oh God, same. Legends. Total legends. And oh my God, I can't believe, it's so much to process. Like, one of my favorite bands ever, though they weren't at the time, that are right before the X Clip, is the Flesh Tone.
I was gonna say, I think of you when I think of them. Like I automatically thought like, well, I want to hear what Heather has to say about Flesh Tones.
Oh my God, aka the Flesh Tones, as I call them, because I love them so much that I have like a silly nickname for them. This is like baby Flesh Tones. Like, especially as because like that's a band. See, Chris, this is a good counter to UB40. Because the Flesh Tones are still together, and they released an album in 2020, 2021 in that range. So they're still very much active. And unlike UB40, they rock and they're good. And they just get better with age, actually. So it was kind of cool to see them, like, and they're like, God, Keith String, the guitarist, looks like he's 16 here. Like, they're babies, like baby Flesh Tones. It's CBGBs. Like, you can practically see the smoke and the air. Like, it's, and it's so cool because, of course, we don't have CBGBs anymore. Like,
right.
So I love this. I don't think this is like one of their better songs, or even like great performances as a band that is just like a house on fire live. But I think it's good. It's cool to see them. I'm kind of surprised they picked Shadowline. Like, again, this is kind of one of those cases where I'd like to know what the other two songs were, because the Flesh Tones have some barnstormer songs that when they break out live, it's just like a party. Like, if you go on YouTube, they're like, for like French TV in like 85, they did their song Hexbreaker Super Vindicators. It's like a mashup, and they're literally they leave the studio and they're still playing. Like, it's like a riot or something. It's so cool. But this is I enjoy it. I think it's charming. I feel like it's weirdly kind of one of the more low key clips in the film, which is,
yeah, I agree. It's kind of too low key.
Yeah,
like it shouldn't be as dismissible as it is. Like, it's kind of a dismissible selection, and it has nothing to do with them as a band.
Same. Yeah. That's
maybe it was the best of their, if it was the best of their 3 songs or whatever, though, might have been an off night. Who knows? Very low.
Works better than UB40, but
oh my God.
Again, though, I think to Rachel's point, there's a lot of this that's very high energy, and I'm not saying everybody had to be high energy, but if you're not high energy, you are kind of lost in this a little bit, because some of the bands intensity. Yeah, that too, or that either. Either one. Like, you could have one or the other, and I think make a case that it's just.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of them before, but I like the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Chris, to quote Pinhead, I have such sights to show you. I'm a huge Flesh Tones fan. I
like the song. Again, I'm sure it's not their best song. So.
Oh my God, no.
Just like I don't think the songs that they picked for the Police are the best songs, or Devo. Like, I wouldn't. And again, like, because in a lot of these cases, those songs haven't been recorded yet. Really.
Mm-hmm. Well, and with Devo, if they had busted out like Gut Feeling / Slap Your Mammy, like, that would have probably kind of ruined some of the other clips too. So I wonder if that's kind of the thing.
Uncontrollable Urge is incredible, though, and and Gates of Steel is one of my faves, and their live album. So I think that could have been an option too. And it's like Gates of Steel, I feel like I project things onto that song that don't even exist in it. I feel like it's one of my most motivational songs to listen to, or like where I feel like I've really gotten through some stuff. I don't know what the hell they actually mean by it. I don't know what it's supposed to, but to me, it's just like, I guess I live in some Gates of Steel in my mind for half my whole life. I'm just like, break away the gates of steel.
Yes.
It's very, I don't know. For some reason, it's a really motivational song to me. So Devo tremendous songwriters. This is the thing. It's like, I think they were just genuinely too good to not become known.
Oh God. Well, in Gates of Steel, and that's this kind of imagery, like, because they use like factory imagery in a lot of their and the whole thing is I see that song being spiritual because to me it almost sounds like, my interpretation is like the battle cry of a worker that, you know, is like you want to be respected as a human. You're not just another cog in the machine. You're not just, right. I mean, because think about how the workforce is treated in this country in general, in a capitalist country where we're all just fodder. We're all just little worker bees, right. And we're not given humanity.
Yeah, this is the ape regards his tail. Like that whole, you know, it's like, we're the apes, you know, it's like, tell us what to do at the factory. Otherwise, we're just going to be staring at our tails.
Yeah, exactly. But
probably code for something else. Code for something Lux Interior implied.
Oh my God. Well, Devo could be they could definitely be some naughty.
Oh yeah.
Saucy Akron.
Uncontrollable Urge, isn't that? I mean,
I was about to say, isn't
the song that actually made it. Right.
Oh man, I thought that's fair. I don't have a retort for that. It's true.
What's next?
Oh my God. I you know, there's a few bands I feel like we've skipped because some of them just kind of like, it's not that they're bad. In some case, like I love Per Ubu, but the Per Ubu clip to me, it's almost kind of like the same with the Flesh Tones, where you have a really great band where, I mean, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just kind of there in a weird way.
Good. I mean, I think it's pretty good. And it's not necessarily the exact style that they would become most known for. It's early Per Ubu too, you know? So, but it's also funny. I mean, I guess like famously the lead singer Dave Thomas, right? Mm-hmm. He was a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I mean, that
I shouldn't just be throwing stuff out like that.
No, I honestly, it would.
I think he was. And it's funny because I was thinking, like, you know, a couple different people in different bands. I was like, oh, they look like Mormon missionaries, and I was like, oh, Dave Thomas was an actual Jehovah's Witness rock star, you know. But the beauty too of Per Ubu, it's like another Ohio band, and they look like, I was like, they look like junior high school science teachers, and then I was like. Oh. They look like junior high school substitute science teachers and the drummer is like their long-haired friend music teacher.
Oh my.
I love that. I like the performance. I actually really like that performance, but I wouldn't hold it up as like, here, this is Per Ubu, you know?
Exactly. No, same. It's, I'm glad that they're there because I mean, it's Per Ubu. It's always great to have them.
And it is like, it's already an experimental in a form that we're not given, you know, like they, like in a weird way, I know I've got Talking Heads fans here, and I obviously said my main issue is with David Byrne, but in a weird way, when I see that Per Ubu, it's like it's creeping into the territory of like, that's almost like Talking Heads for me. Like, I mean, in a good way, like it's kind of, again, that type of that space for some reason. It's like something about the music that they make is in that similar space. And I would almost choose that, you know,
I get it.
It's been sneaking up on me lately. I'm accidentally hearing Talking Heads songs and I'm like, shit, am I a huge Talking Heads fan? And I just haven't told myself yet for 40 years.
I mean, I get it with the band that's in this. It's very close to what David Byrne was doing like at the end of the Talking Heads. The more experimentally kind of, I don't know, there's some Talking Head songs that can be played on the radio and there are some that really can't be. And I would say that this kind of leans further in that direction, which is not, I mean, some people don't like the Beatles after a certain point, right? They're like, I'm not into this shit anymore. Like, give me that skiffle and nothing else. And isn't that what it's called? Like that isn't it?
No, it is. It's just returning that word. I think of Spinal Tap. I'm sorry. It's
that's the truth, right? Like my mom doesn't like the Beatles, like pretty much like White Album, past the White Album. She's not really into it. Which I get, like, so like Talking Heads kind of had a similar moment where it's like, hey, it's kind of, I'm this David Byrne, you're kind of pushing things the way you want to go. This band is a little stranger than that, for sure, I think, overall. it's a little bit more performative.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, and Para Ubu, to like from the get-go, just definitely have always been kind of like one of those like bands that were, I think, deemed kind of weird and just weird and arty enough to, and I mean, rightfully so, get acclaim from like a lot of critics, music writers, because they're good and they're interesting. But you know, that's a band that you kind of knew they were never going to quite ever probably make like have big mainstream success, because they like some bands can be arty and weird but still have a few songs that are palatable enough for the mainstream and still work. But also you couple that with the fact that in the 80s there's a lot of stuff that became hits in the 80s that I don't think would have been hits in any other decade. I mean, actually, Wall of Voodoo, like Mexican Radio, I don't think that would be a hit now. I don't think fucking Taco covering Putting on the Ritz.
Pretty good though.
There's a good example.
Yeah. And
you know, is it Hits on 45 or whatever? I mean, there's all kinds.
Oh my God, the Stars on 45.
Oh, Stars on 45. Stars on 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's always weird stuff related to radio that it just doesn't happen. I mean, radio doesn't exist on the same level, but still, like that type of music, no one's getting 8 million streams of Taco over the weekend. Unless it's, becomes a TikTok video or
That's what I was about to say. That's kind of what dictates it now, is whether or not it's a TikTok video.
Right. That could easily come back. Quite honestly, there could be some sort of a Ritz cracker challenge.
Yes.
Back on TikTok. TikToko.
I'm TikTok.
Taco.
Oh my God. Yes. That's anybody listening that's a big TikTok creator, you know what to do.
I know. What if Taco was on this? Was in Urgh music work?
It would not shock me. I better him than the members, which we take.
Oh, that's just a skip. That's a skip.
I skip it every time.
Oh my God, that's just I can't stand that song. It's not a good band. It's sorry, members.
Them and UB40. Because I'm not even a big Steel Pulse fan, but I respect it.
Right, and that's it's shocking that
it's
the
very shocking.
Percussionist is in a clan hood, and you're just like, wow, like it really brings the point across. I was going to bring up Steel Pulse because I think it's a great performance for that visual too, and they're clearly great at what they do, and it's one of that, like, I mean, is it the most political? I mean, how are you going to get more political than that, even if you're Jello Biafra? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're, that's just like so completely in your face, and in this country, it's just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you're just that's wow, 3/4 of the song he has that on, and you're just like, you know, and that's the name of the song. How can you, it's like it's as in your face as it could possibly get.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the, like, sort of the sad, I mean, it's sad, but one of the things that makes a lot of the political music still very much relevant is that all of the issues are pretty much the same. Like, some of the names might be different, but like we haven't really changed all that much now than how we were in the 80s. So I like trying to take lemons and make lemonade. So the lemonade is, hey kids, you can still watch Urgh Music War and enjoy it, and get to see Jim Scafish. And this would be in my top 5 favorite performance of this whole film is Sign of the Cross. And that's the thing, because Jim, like, he grew up with a lot of, as you could probably guess, a lot of Catholicism, and had a very troubled childhood, was intensely bullied, and because he's brilliant, and this is what you do, this is what art is for. Like, art is to exercise all of those, like, the trauma and the demons, and make some great art out of it. And you have this song that at parts, to me, it's like, I mentioned Zappa earlier, but to me, parts of it almost sound like a Frank Zappa composition. Like, the players are ace, like every single player. Like, the bass is legit, the drumming's phenomenal, the guitar works excellent, and I've never seen a singer or performer like Jim Scafish ever. And I love Barbie Goodrich, who was also, like, sometimes she was a singer or a musician. Like, she's great. He's got the incense.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, he really leaned hard into the Catholic references, obviously, and I do like that because I think of like, I mean, who the band Ghost does that? It's like,
Yep.
it is such a, even if you don't know the Catholic Church, it's like you probably know the image of swinging the incense around, and so it really is, but it's so Gothic, which lots of Catholic imagery is. I think it's pretty dark, and there's a dark history and even modern history, but that is it's a very cool effect. I think the incense.
Oh, same. And I love the fact that, like, to me, the song almost has like the way it's sung almost sounds like a sales pitch. Like, it's totally just kind of almost sort of like this commentary on just how religion is, it's a commodity, and it's a commodity to kind of help manipulate people, especially when it's used wrong, especially when it's used more for purposes of money and power than anything else. And I really feel like the song hammers home that point, but in such a clever way. And I love it. I feel bad because I feel like, I mean, granted, it helped Jim get signed. It helped Skafish get signed. But I feel like IRS in some ways kind of like just be like, oh, look at this wacky guy. And they even had like somebody dressed up in England, like a grotesque caricature of Jim and his huge nose. And it's like, and there's something obviously wrong. Like, his nose is amazing. Like, he's amazing, kind of striking looking human, which is so cool. And it's, it kind of makes me feel bad because it's like, well, how about just like how somebody's an interesting artist? Like, let's just not celebrate that. But I don't know. To quote my husband, "When it ugly, still winning." So I guess at least he got the album, and all of his stuff he's been remastering and getting his albums out on Bandcamp, which is cool. I'm glad he got the rights back since IRS. I think there's some bands that are just kind of languishing because IRS Records dissolved years ago.
Yeah. Oh, sad.
Yeah. But I guess before, I don't know, Chris, do you have any thoughts, feelings, poetic odes?
I was gonna say, how do we want to wrap this up? Because like we are technically at the end, sort of. But how did we want to give our final thoughts on this?
Ooh, that's a good question. Do we want to do like? Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel.
Oh, I don't. Go ahead.
I was saying we could do like what are our favorite and least favorite.
Yeah, let's do that. So starting with you, Rachel, what is your standout performance, and then the one that maybe you're not the biggest fan of? And we'll see if we all have the same answer to one of them.
It's hard for me to say one, but I'll also say one that I really, really love that we didn't talk about is Gang of Four.
Oh,
He'd Send in the Army.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's a John King makes it incredibly horny by being so weird on the side of this, like all the way on the side of the stage, where it almost looks like, I read that it was like a pipe on the side of the case that he's doing this extra, but it looks like a blackjack or something. You know what I mean? Like
totally, yeah.
And he's just wearing all black like that, and I'm just like, what are we? What like what's going on here? But it works perfectly. But it makes it a different type of performance. Again, it doesn't just feel like it adds a little bit of theatrics to it, but it intensifies what the song itself would be. I think it's a tremendous, but my absolute number one, XTC. I love it. And I cannot say enough how wonderful the Gary Numan is. That design is like nothing else. Him pulling up in that like moon, whatever you call it, like this moon car with the headlights. It's just, and he has like a red leather suit, almost like, Eddie Murphy Raw or something. And you can see his eyeliner's like glowing in the stage. So I know I've gone too far, but XTC number one, probably Gary Numan number two, Gang of Four number three, and the Go-Go's. I can't for the importance to me. I have to say the Go-Go's. The stuff that I didn't, the stuff that we said is the stuff that's just was. What was here's me. What was it? What were we ripping on so badly that was just like incredibly boring and didn't need to be there?
The members.
But then I will say, if I'm kicking someone off that's not just like this, utterly forgettable, kicking off Invisible Sex. We didn't talk about We didn't talk about. I guess we didn't talk about it. I don't have to talk about it.
Oh God! Well, now I'm wondering. Like, I feel like
I know there's some that we didn't cover.
Which I think says more about them than anything else could. Like the surf punks.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
surf
God.
punks. That's what. Okay, here's the thing. I kind of like the surf punks to listen. Just to like pop in a song in a mix or something like that. Like it's funny, and they definitely are a novelty. There was just assault happening. It was obscene. Their performance is obscene. I'm not a pearl clutcher, but they're not good enough to just be like, it was just like, yes, some sort of sexual assault and just using nudity, even if that's what you would see at the beach or whatever. Like the only thing cool was a little bit of ocean trash on the stage. Otherwise, I say cut them out too.
What about you, Heather?
Yeah. So my favorites, oh God, and this is something where it's so hard because I think there's more greatness than there is badness. But so Skafish, the Cramps, Wall of Voodoo, Gary Numan, XTC, Klaus Nomi, the pairs. I basically 70%, 70 to 80% of this movie. But if I had my druthers, if I was forced to pick one, I'd probably say the Cramps. I mean, worst. Yeah, actually, I was gonna go into surf punks, and I just kept getting mad thinking about it because, like, the song itself you're right, it's fine. I'm not a big fan of it, even though I do love surf music and punk. But they're so bro-y. And then you have that whole thing where that poor girl, and it's just like, oh, here, let's expose her boob. Like, you know what, guys, fuck off. Like, that's not punk rock. And it's just like some totally like dirtbag sub Ted Nugent behavior. It's not welcome. It's not welcome. And you're right. The music's not good enough either. Like, we're not getting Stranglehold, the surf rock version from these guys. So, so yeah, for me, the members and UB40, I would cut out. But if somebody wanted to cut out Invisible Sex, I wouldn't argue with it because I skip past that one half the time too. But I do like the girls that go like that. Like, bless them. I like them. But I don't know. What about you, Chris? Especially with this being like kind of new frontier for you a little bit.
Well, it'd kind of be unfair to say the things that I already liked coming into it. So I tried to stay away from the things I already liked coming into it in terms of the things I was drawn to. So, but then it's not kind of fair because most of the things I had at least heard of.
Go with your gut. Just go with your gut.
Flesh Towns were pretty good.
Yes.
I would say that they're up there. But then again, like you've kind of already mentioned, Dead Kennedys, XTC, Oingo Boingo hasn't really gotten mentioned a whole lot. So I'll mention Oingo Boingo again. The Police are great. I mean, there's a reason they're here. It's not undeserved for sure. And I mean, Devo's great. But yeah, I mean, the surf punks thing is great.
Yeah,
it's real bad. It's the worst thing on this, which is why we thankfully spent like no time on it because it's fucking weird more than anything else. Just a weird thing. Like, I don't get it. Like, of all the things, I wouldn't expect that in this.
Yeah, well, and especially because it's like there's so many bands that could have been used in their place. Like the Motels. The Motels were like in that weird cusp area where they weren't really punk, but they played punk venues, and the Motels were a good band. I don't know. There's a lot of bands.
Anybody better than the surf punks? So.
Yeah, Black Flag.
Yeah, where was Black Flag?
Yeah. So
yeah,
but oh well, but yeah, it's but it's okay. History, when it comes down to it, more people. I think most people would skip past anyway. I mean, how many people talk about the surf punks?
Nobody. The surf punks.
Yeah,
surf punks moms, if they're still around.
The surf punks mom. I mean, like our boys were terrible.
Yeah, like it's like kind of indefensible. Like the music's fine, but they're like what they're doing on stage is pretty indefensible. So
yeah, and anybody listening that hasn't seen it, like, don't think you're going to see some great G.G. Allen shit. It's just stupid frat boy bullshit,
It's not even what's the other guy? Oh, the one who's El Duce. It's not even El Duce level.
Oh God,
it's just like
and I think of Suburbia. I watched Suburbia recently, and it's like the scene with the girl where they like, rip all her clothes off or whatever at the show. It's like, it's shocking and terrible. I hate it. And I basically I felt the same watching surf punks now, where I'm just like, it was not a great look at any point. And now it's just like, why?
Yeah.
They were around for 12 years. That's it.
Good Lord. Who wanted that much? Who was asking for that many years?
One of the members' dads was stepfather was Gavin MacLeod of McHale's Navy.
I did not know that.
Oh God, I didn't know that. I know one of them is the nephew of Daryl Dragon, aka the captain of Captain and Tennille.
Oh, that's right. Jesus. Okay.
So they're Nepo babies, the band.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's your answer.
And they should all be Me Too'd.
God, no shit.
They did a pretty good job Me Too'ing themselves, frankly.
I know.
I hope to God Gavin MacLeod treated women better than that.
Please. On the Love Boat, he was about love. I didn't see any love in that performance.
No love. No love.
Oh my God.
So we officially did an episode longer than the movie, which is a real thing.
And that happens too much.
No, this is the first time it's happened in a very long time.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you could chop a bunch out of this.
No, I don't do that. I don't chop things out of episodes. What the hell?
I'm not implying anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't cut people out of their shows. Who would do such a thing? Heather, I'm gonna go to Rachel first, and then you. Final thoughts on Urgh, a music.
I think someone should do a massive Blu-ray release where they include the songs we didn't see the first time. Let's see the second and third songs. Let's see bands that were cut out. Let's get commentary. Let's talk to everyone who's still alive. I'd like to see that. And I would like to see it then tour theaters. And I'd like to see screenings of it again, because I think it's really incredible. And I think it was foretelling of our YouTube future. And I think it's much more current with how we experience live music than we could have ever imagined.
I'll go next, Heather, and I'll let you bring up the rear, as it were, since this was for your month. I agree. If they're going to do something like Stop Making Sense in theaters, and A24 is going to throw their entire weight behind that, why not this? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that it's even still hard to find. And I mean, again, hard to find physically. Again, it is on Vimeo, which ain't great, but it's better than nothing. It's good. I mean, it's good. There are some kind of low spots, but every album is not, every track on every album is not going to resonate with you. And just like, anything else, there are songs in Stop Making Sense I'm not a huge fan of that I will skip if I feel like it. And, I get it with this as well. So it is kind of surprising that this doesn't have a bigger release or something in the works for it, given, again, the kind of profile of most of the bands involved. So Heather, I will kick it to you at the end.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, Chris, thank you for doing this, and I hope you don't regret it.
Nope.
Okay, good. I
said I did not know how we were going to talk about a movie that had like all of these things in it, and this is kind of what I imagined. So I was like, if that's what it is, that has to be what it is. Like that's it. Just there's no way to easily talk about these kinds of things. So.
Yeah. First of all, everything Rachel said, 100% agree, and I will add to that. If somebody's able to do that, Rachel's a great writer. Have her do the essay. So, bam. Oh. You're welcome, boutique labels. And also, boutique labels, get Chris on some commentaries, because Chris is amazing. Listen to the Kulturecast, okay? But as far as plugging the movie, you know what? If you love music, if you are a cultural historian, if you're just somebody that's like, hey, I want to hear something I've never heard before, or you only know the hits, check this out. It's a great concert film. It's well shot. It's well edited. There's a great mix of bands. And for every band you don't like, I promise you're going to hear double that, triple, quadruple that, more of that. Even if you don't love every single one, you'll appreciate a lot of it. And you'll be all the richer for it. So yeah, Urgh Music War. Yeah, circulate it, talk about it, and who knows, maybe we can get that Blu-ray that desperately needs to be out. So
stranger things have happened, really. So I mean, again, just given the amount of people that are involved in this that are still around, Sting is still around, still kicking it. So I don't know. I'm kind of shocked that this doesn't have a better release. So until the next time the three of us do something, Rachel, where can people find the things that you work on?
Nowhere. No, just kidding. I mean, I'm on Instagram, RACH__MCP. I'm working on a book right now. I've been working on it for a year and some change, and it's getting very close to being finished. So it'll probably be out in a year. It's about Robert Hazard, the famous Philly rock star famous in Philly rock star and songwriter who actually wrote the song Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And most people don't realize that. So I'm hard at work on a book. In the meantime, you can pester me on Instagram where I post all kinds of music and movie and personal stuff. And I always say, go to Heather's Patreon. Go to Heather's Linktree. I like to promote my friend Heather.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what about you, Heather? Do you want to promote your own stuff?
Yeah. Like, yes. No. Well, actually, I recently got to be featured next to Rachel. We both got to be the inaugural guests on the very first episode of the new podcast, Windy City Ballyhoo, hosted by Adam Carston. And that was so much fun. We got to talk about Gimme Shelter and the Godard film Sympathy for the Devil, aka, is it 1+1?
Yeah.
Rach, I don't know why I'm like, I'm always like, oh, this is how bad I am with math. You put that in your title and be like, I'm like Sympathy for the Devil, whatever. Yeah, the Godard one. But that was a lot of fun. We get to talk more about music films, but also just again, kind of actually like this cultural, how certain films have that cultural zeitgeist moment. And especially with Give Me Shelter, there's definitely a lot of that. So everybody, please go listen to that. And otherwise, you can find me over, as Rachel said so graciously, I might add, thank you, linktree.com/Mondo Heather. My Patreon is Mondo Heather. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, under @Mondo Heather. I have a website. It's called Mondo Heather. So, but yes, and in the meantime, listen to the Kulturecast and anything Chris does, because Chris is one of the best hosts out there. He is amazing. So.
Yay, Chris.
I try. The things I work on can be found at weirdingwaymedia.com, where there are things that I do not host, like the award-winning and Webby-nominated 80s TV Ladies. If you haven't voted in the Webbies for their for Best Indie Podcast, please go do that now. It will hopefully get them into first place because they're in second place right now. So, yep, we have a podcast on the network nominated for a Webby Award. We also have the Projection Booth, the Filmentaries podcast, Twisted and Uncorked, a whole bunch of stuff. But the only thing you can't find on the internet without a paywall is Rankin' on Bond, which is a Patreon exclusive. $10 or more gets you access to once a month Mike White, Richard Haddam, and I talk about James Bond. And it's pretty entertaining if the episodes so far are any indication. So that's where you can go for all of that. Heather, thank you so much for joining me, and Rachel for tagging along as well, or rounding out the cast, as it were, of this evening's episode.
My pleasure.
And as always, we'll catch you on the next episode.